half pounds.
Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Jeff?
I'm surprised at you. I mean, I'm really insulted. I mean, that's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting on, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, one time during my career, I was on a bum of month tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What's happening, my people? It's Cat Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, the legendary Thomas Hill. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, the Emile Griffith-Benny Parrot story. The Griffith-Parrot story has the family today. Salute Thomas Hill, how are you? You had a great weekend. We're now in fight week for the big Riyadh season, Devin and Brian Norman. Now I know Benavidez and Yard is the main event, but everybody been talking about Devin and B. Norman ever since this card was signed, so that's the real main event of this card. And we're in fight week 4. It's this weekend. Okay? So yeah, that's one of the bigger ones of the year there. So we'll see. I'm still leaning Devin by decision, but like boxing already did last week, I'm kind of on the verge of switching, you know. But I still got Devin by decision. But by Friday, I might have B. Norman. I don't know. But we'll see. Mike Rim in the building. What's up, Mike Rim? How are you today? Connor Ben. Wow. Drop Eubank in the 12th round, but I think he had it won by that point anyway. So, yeah, they should do the rubber match. It's 1-1. That'll give us another trilogy to do on Monday. They do the rubber match so we can have another trilogy to talk about. But today it's going to be the Emile Griffith-Benny Parrot story. They had 3 fights. The third one was tragic. Griffith died in that one. Not Griffith, Parrot died after the third fight, collapsed in the ring and never regained consciousness and died 10 days later in the hospital. So we're going to discuss that today. And we got to look briefly at the first 2 fights, but then we're going to take a deep look into the third fight where the tragedy happened. Okay? But first, the fight of the day. Gotta have the fight of the day. So let's look at the fight of the day first. There it is. It's Monday. You're supposed to be messing up a little bit on Monday. There we go. Okay. So today's fight of the day is Marvin Hagler versus Alan Minter. September 27th, 1980. The Marvelous One reaches the pinnacle. The Marvelous One reaches the pinnacle. Hagler Minter, September 27th, 1980. Okay, let's talk about that one. Fight of the day. For too long, Marvelous Marvin Hagler had been denied, ignored, and unjustly sidelined, while lesser middleweights had got the big opportunities and the big money. For too long, Hagler had toiled in the shadows in grimy gyms in Massachusetts and Pennsylvania, while the bright lights in New York and Las Vegas failed to highlight his remarkable intensity and undeniable talent. The title of uncrowned champion had gotten old. It was now 1980, a new decade, and Hagler should have been the real champion a long time ago. Long time ago. Marvelous One should have been had it, right? But they were ducking him. There's him and Vito Antuofermo. Hagler won that fight, schooled Antuofermo, but they robbed him and called it a draw. Because remember, Antuofermo came in as a champion. They called it a draw, so Antuofermo retained his belt. Despite decimating the division and steamrolling over Willie Monroe, Eugene Hart, Bobby Watts, Mike Colbert, and Benny Briscoe, a shot at the title never came Hagler's way. In the words of Joe Frazier, you have 3 strikes against you. You're black, you're a southpaw, and you're good. Sounded more and more like a prophecy. And when his overdue chance finally arrived in November 1979, the judges denied the Marvelous One his due. Defending champion Vito Antuofermo won, at best, 6 rounds against Marvin on national television. But the Vegas officials somehow scored Hagler's 15-round clinic a draw. Marvin went back to Massachusetts, very angry. Ceased when he went back home, very angry. Okay, so then Antil Fermo gave Alan Minter, there's Antil Fermo and Alan Minter, a title shot. Minter lifted the title off of Antil Fermo. Now, Antil Fermo defended 4 months later against British champion Alan Minter and dropped a close and controversial 15-round decision. The rematch in England saw Vito battered and stopped on cuts in 8 rounds, and Minter became a national hero. His status as champion bringing pride to all Englishmen. But little did they know the misfortune awaiting Minter. Securing the world title meant he had to face next a very determined and dangerous, marvelous Marvin Hagler. Held in London's Wembley Arena and broadcast to millions in America on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Hagler vs. Minter would highlight the best and worst of professional boxing. Now, the worst emanated from the overzealous patriotism fueled by boos of the British fans, and the best came from the cool proficiency of Hagler's performance, his unique blend of ferocity and sublime technique. There's a shot of Hagler and Minter. And by brawling with Hagler, Minter sealed his fate in that fight. Okay? That was the biggest mistake he made, trying to brawl with the marvelous one. Now, just days before the fight, caught up in the pressure and the hype, Minter uttered words he would later retract, but they presaged the mayhem to come. Minter said, "No black man is going to take my title." Okay? And by the time the rafters of Wembley Arena had stopped reverberating after some 15,000 gave a thunderous rendition of God Save the Queen, it began to dawn on the organizers of the fight what was taking place. They had unwittingly created a flashpoint for the worst manifestations of British nationalism. Gangs of young white men filled the upper tiers of the arena. And by the time the fight began, they had been freely buying and drinking beer for hours. The pro-white, pro-British passions, as well as the anti-American sentiment, were all on full display. Another shot of the fight, all on full display. In the midst of the tension and fury, Hagler was the still point, the eye of the storm. Having waited too long and endured too much to let a hostile crowd intimidate him, he remained calmly focused on the task at hand. The debacle with Vito Antil Fermo in Las Vegas was fresh in his mind. And prior to the fight, the marvelous one had made it clear he would not allow a similar outcome. This time he told anyone who would listen, "I'm bringing my own judges with me." And then he would hold up his fist to make his meaning crystal clear. Yeah, the marvelous one said, "This time, those 3 guys sitting around the ring apron, they ain't even gonna count. I'm bringing my own judges. These 2 right here," holding up his fist, right? So I'm bringing my own judges. Now, when informed of Minter's racist slur, Hagler turned to his manager, Goody Petronelli. "Goody," he said, "I'm going to hurt that man." There's another shot of Hagler and Minter. Yeah, Hagler told his manager after he heard what Minter had said about no black man is going to beat me. Hagler told his manager, "I'm going to hurt that man." Now the battle was underway, and round one saw brisk exchanges, with both men scoring. But two things were evident by the end of round one. Hagler enjoyed a huge advantage in power, and while Minter figured to rely on tight defense and smart boxing technique, Hagler was out-jabbing the champion. This forced Minter to commit strategic suicide as he marched forward and threw flurries of punches, hoping aggression could win the day. It was a futile hope, though. It did make for spirited action. The inebriated patriots in the stands bellowed their approval with deafening chants of Minter, Minter, Minter. There's another shot of the two combatants. Now Hagler's sharp shots sliced and diced Minter. Let me show you another shot of Minter's face in a little while, as we got up into the couple rounds in. Now Minter's manager, Doug Bidwell, was less enthused, and he gave his men a stern talk between the first and second round. His final command being, settle down. And Minter did show discipline at the start of round two, keeping Hagler at the end of his punches. But then Hagler with ease closed the distance, connected with a sharp 1-2, and instantly Minter lost his head. To the delight of the British fans, he scowled at Hagler and waved him in, and the two southpaws went toe-to-toe. Within seconds, Minter's nose was gushing blood, and a nasty cut had opened under his left eye. Minter came back near the end of the round to land some good left hands, but this was now the fight Hagler had wanted, a brawl, where his greatest strength, power, and counterpunching skills would be the deciding factor. Here there he is. And a couple rounds in, Minter's face tells the story. That's just like 2 rounds into the fight right there. Okay? Now, throughout his career, Minter's handicap had been his tissue paper, skin, its tendency to tear and cut easy, leading to all of his career defeats. All of Minter's defeats had been on cuts. Now, the Briton was bleeding all over the ring as Hagler's shorter, more precise punches snapped his head from side to side. Minter's mouthpiece went flying, and so did the blood from cuts around both eyes. And Minter had no reply, his punches missing the mark as Hagler countered on the inside with thudding right hooks and uppercuts. The referee, alarmed by the gashes and all the blood, paused the action and led a dazed Minter back to his corner. His manager Bidwell surveyed the damage and then immediately signaled surrender. And there's the marvelous one, finally reached the pinnacle. His dream fulfilled. So then, as soon as the crowd realized that the fight had been stopped, the arena was engulfed in chaos. Hagler, in a gesture of triumph and thanksgiving, raised his arms and then sank to his knees. Right? At ring center, that's the picture right there. He raised his arms in celebration, sank to his knees because he had been ducked for so long. And then he really won the title against Antuofermo a few years before that, and they robbed him and called it a draw. So Antuofermo kept the title. So he just was so overwhelmed with joy, finally getting his title. He sank to his knees at ring center, raised his arms. A full can of beer curled out of the darkness above, just missed his head. Then a hail of bottles and cans descended as Hagler's cornermen rushed in to shed him. More than one ringside fan was struck by wayward projectiles as people dived for cover under chairs and tables and even under the ring itself. Right? A crowd of British police swiftly hustled the new champion and his people out of the ring, and the tour of debris followed them as they ran for the exit back to the dressing room. And later, as the car carrying Hagler exited the arena, someone heaved a brick and smashed the windshield, right? Of the car Hagler and his team was leaving, and they broke the windshield. It was a shameful night for British sports fans. Shameful. It is Hagler and his team and security people. Hagler's under all that. They trying to cover him from getting hit. But what about them? They getting hit upside the head by bottles and stuff. But they were protecting their investment, Hagler, right? Yeah. Now, nothing came easy for Marvelous Marvin Hagler, especially the glory. Now, what should have been the most resplendent night of his entire career was marred by hate and drunkenness and racism. But the Marvelous One had waited so long, had endured so much, that when it was all over, he refused to let the mayhem undermine his accomplishment and satisfaction. It was a dream fulfilled, he said, of the moment when he realized he had won. He had finally done it. He was the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. 7 hard years of striving and struggling were at long last redeemed. And there you have it, the fight of the day. Marvelous Marvin Hagler finally got his lifelong dream of becoming a champion. When he should have been champion years ago, but everybody ducked him. And then when he did get his first shot against Antonio Fermo, he clearly won the fight, took Antonio Fermo to school, but the judges ruled it a draw. And so Antonio Fermo was champion, so he retained his title, right? Draw, title don't change hands. But finally he got it. And then they tried to go bottles and broke the windshield of the car he was in as they were leaving. Shameful night for British boxing fans right there, man. Yeah, I saw that as it was happening, live. Well, I wasn't in Wembley Arena, but I saw it on ABC's Wide World of Sports as it was happening, man. I didn't see the brick smash the car, but I saw all that stuff coming in the ring. That scene right there, yes, they showed all of that, man. It was terrible. But there's your winner of the fight of the day, Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the Emile Griffith-Benny Parrot story. Okay, trilogy. The third fight ended in tragedy. Okay, excuse me for 1 second. There we go. Okay, let's get into this trilogy here. Trilogy Monday this week. The Emile Griffith-Benny Parrot story. Okay, yeah, there they are. That's a famous picture right there of the referee finally coming in and getting Parrot is already out, already unconscious right there. Yeah, that was the 12th round. Emile landed like almost 30 unanswered punches. He was kind of like, he was angry because, well, we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it. You're still in the show if I'm going to sit here in the first 5 minutes and tell a story, right? Okay, let's get into it. The Emile Griffith-Benny Parrot story. Now, Emile Griffith and Benny Parrot had 3 professional welterweight boxing championship fights. All 3 were for the title. Between 1961 and 1962. Most notably was the third and final meeting, which resulted in Parrot's death. Let's take a brief look at the 3 fights. Fight number 1, April 1st, 1961. In their first meeting for the welterweight title, Parrot came in as champion. Now, Griffith defeated Parrot by 13th round knockout to become the new champion. So fight number 2, September 30th, 1961. Emile Griffith is now the champion, okay? Parrot reclaimed the championship belt by defeating Griffith with a split decision, 15-round split decision, right after the fight went the entire distance. Really good fight, split decision. So fight number 3, Parrot comes in as champion again, March 24th, 1962. Now this fight, held at Madison Square Garden and nationally televised on ABC, ended in tragedy. Now Parrot had targeted Griffith with an anti-gay slur, American. It's like a derogatory term toward a gay person, a gay man, right? American. And this happened at the pre-fight weigh-in. He also did that before the second fight. And this deeply enraged Griffith. In the 12th round, Griffith trapped Parrot in a corner and delivered a brutal series of unanswered blows, like 29 in all, unanswered. The referee, Ruby Goldstein, was slow to intervene. Now, we're going to talk about what the referee said later, too, about why he didn't come in as fast as people say he should have. You know, they say he was slow to intervene. We're going to talk about, say exactly what he said. Now, Parrot fell into a coma and died in the hospital 10 days after the fight, resulting from his injuries that he suffered in the fight. Yeah. Okay. BVO Sports TV in the building. What's up, BVO? Coming up tonight at 8 p.m. with the gang. Thomas Hill, D-Free, prize fighter. And BVO himself, the one and only BVO. BVO Sports TV from the Sports Talk Network. Okay, BVO, what we got today? Emile Griffith-Benny Parrot story. Let's talk about the legacy of this series, mainly around the third fight, right? Now, the third fight of the trilogy had profound and lasting impacts on the sport of boxing. It spurred calls for reform in the sport, including better safety regulations and the eventual temporary removal of boxing from network television, okay, for over a decade. They stopped showing boxing on TV. Now, the incident haunted Griffith for the rest of his life, and he was never the same fighter afterward. Now, he did make it into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 1990. And later in his life, after retirement from boxing, Griffith actually met with Parrot's son, asking for and receiving forgiveness. And it was Benny Parrot's son that asked for the meeting, not Griffith. And at first, Griffith was hesitant to meet him, but we're going to talk about that too. Okay. Yeah. And that's when he really put it, well, he didn't never put it behind him, but that's when he really came to grips with it, when he met Benny Parrot's son. And he forgave him, right? Because, you know, like, that could have been you, you know, it's boxing. And when it happened, Benny Parrot's son was only 2 years old at that time, right? And he had another son that wasn't even born yet. His wife was still pregnant with his other son, Benny, right? Just like Duke Kim, remember, when he died from the Boom Boom Senior fight, his wife was pregnant with their son. So Benny never met one of his sons, okay? So the story of the trilogy and the underlying themes of sexuality, machismo, and tragedy have been explored in various media, including the powerful documentary film Ring of Fire. Yeah, we got a good piece on Ring of Fire coming up too later. And the critically acclaimed opera Champion. He made an opera about this. Yeah. Okay. So, now Emile Griffith was a well-rounded and aggressive two-way boxer puncher, known for his speed, effective combinations, excellent distance control, and ability to seamlessly transition between offense and defense. Okay? He was an intelligent and creative fighter who could operate effectively both on the inside and outside. Griffith was aggressive and liked to initiate action. using combinations and aggression to break down his opponents. He used his jab and footwork to control the distance of the fight, setting up his attacks and keeping opponents at bay. His left hook was a particularly strong weapon, especially when fighting on the inside or as a counterpuncher after an opponent overcommitted. Emile could comfortably fight in close quarters or at a distance, adapting his strategy to the specific opponent he was facing and the situation in the fight. Now, while known for his offense, Emile was also skilled defensively, using his footwork and a dipping L step to draw and counter his opponents. His versatility made him a difficult opponent to prepare for, as he could effectively neutralize an opponent's game plan. This is a major reason why he was a multi-division world champion. Emile Griffith. There's Benny Parrett. Now, Benny Parrett was a Cuban boxer known for his fluid movement, tactical prowess, and aggressive pressure fighting style. A natural warrior with an unshakable will, Benny was known for being relentless, pushing the pace against his opponents, and his unorthodox stance was accompanied by a style that emphasized his heart and skill. Now, Parrett was a crowd-pleasing fighter who consistently pressed his opponents. His determination and stamina were among his greatest assets, allowing him to mix it up with the best fighters of his time. Now, Benny's willingness to fight anyone, anytime may have contributed to his tragic end. He took on tough opponents and too many hard fights, ultimately leading to his death from a brutal beating by Emile Griffith in 1962. And at the time of the Griffith fight, Parrett was believed to still be recovering from a previous severe beating in a loss to middleweight champion Gene Fullmer just 3 months earlier, right? Parrett's toughness and swagger led to him getting back in the ring too soon after that beating from Fullmer. He took a severe beating. Gene Fullmer said that's the worst he ever beat somebody. And, he got back in the ring too soon. A lot of people blamed that on his manager, Manny Alfaro. Yeah. We're going to talk about him too. Manny Alfaro, he was a grimy dude. Grimy. Yeah, he was Benny's manager. And Benny being Cuban, they wasn't letting him box professionally. So he got with Manny because Manny got him out of there and got him fights and everything, But it was a terrible move. But hindsight is 20/20 vision. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at the first two fights. Mainly going to focus on the third fight. And then we're going to talk about that documentary that about Emile Griffith, about this fight called Ring of Fire. Okay. Now, the first fight between Parrett and Griffith took place on April 1st, 1961 in Miami, Florida, in front of a small crowd of 4,618 fans. Now, the fight became Parrett's first knockout loss of his 46-fight career at that point as a pro, and ended his 10-month reign as the welterweight world champion. Griffith knocked Parrett out in the 13th round. Okay, that was the first fight. So we're not going to focus too much on the first two. Now, Parrett got the chance to reclaim the title 5 months later on September 30th, 1961 at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Now, he regained the title, though it was a controversial decision over Griffith that was met with a mixture of cheers and raucous boos. That set up the rubber match to break the 1-1 tie and settle the score between Griffith and Parrett once and for all. Okay. So now let's look at the third fight. Let's look at the third fight between them. This is the one we're going to mainly focus on today. Okay. Okay. Oh, come on. Don't do that. There we go. All right. Parrot Griffith 3. Or Griffith-PARET 3. Okay. There they are. That's Parrot on the left, Emile on the right. Benny Parrot versus Emile Griffith 3. Now, Benny Parrot versus Emile Griffith 3 was the third meeting between Benny Kid Parrot and Emile Griffith for the welterweight boxing championship, held back at Madison Square Garden in New York City on Saturday, March 24th, 1962. The Parrot came into the fight as the reigning welterweight champion. This would be the deciding rubber match, because remember the title had changed hands twice. Griffith took it in the first fight, Parrot took it back in the second fight. So the rubber match, Benny came in as the champion. Now the fight was broadcast live by ABC on its live weekly boxing sports program called Fight of the Week. Now the fight was both notable and controversial for the punishment Parrot took in the ring at the hands of Griffith, which led to his loss by knockout in round 12 of a scheduled 15-round fight. Now Parrot died in the hospital from his injuries 10 days later. The fight has been cited as one of the reasons for the decline of boxing as a mainstream televised sport at the time, and it led to political calls for the bans of the fight, for bans of boxing. Even the Pope chimed in, wanted it banned. Pope something, the second or something, way back in 1962. Yeah, the Pope was even calling for boxing to be banned. Here's another shot. Griffith on the right, Parrot on the left. They really didn't like each other either. Okay. Natural promotional gold mine, because they didn't like each other. And they both lived in Brooklyn, somewhere in New York, in the same neighborhood. And they would pass each other on the streets from time to time. Yeah. Now this fight was the third meeting between Parrot and Griffith for the NBA, ring, and lineal welterweight title. On April 1st, 1961, in his first title defense, Parrot was defeated by Griffith in the 13th round by knockout. In the second meeting, September 30th, 1961, Parrot recaptured the welterweight crown by split decision. Now, although Parrot had been battered in the two fights, in the December 1961 middleweight fight with champion Gene Fullmer, he decided that he would defend his welterweight title against Griffith 3 months after the Fullmer fight. Now, Parrot Griffith 3 was booked for Madison Square Garden on Saturday, March 24th, 1962, with Parrot as the reigning champion. Griffith was heavily favored by Vegas odds makers as a 2-7 favorite to win and recapture the welterweight title. So Emile came in favored. Now let's look at this weigh-in, because that was very significant in this fight. And as to what happened, okay? Video at the weigh-in, there's Emile on the scales and see Parrot taunting him. He even said at one point during the weigh-in, Parrot patted Emile on the butt, right? So yeah, this was very significant as to what ended up happening in this third fight. Now the weigh-in, okay? Something is wrong, excuse me. That light blaring, excuse me for a minute. I'm sorry, this is the last interruption, I promise. Last one. Okay, here we go. The weigh-in. This played a big role in what happened. The weigh-in. Okay. And they had same-day weigh-ins then. This was the morning of the fight, this weigh-in. The morning of the fight, at the customary weigh-in, Parrot needled Griffith with an insult in Spanish while Griffith stood on the scales. Yeah, that's happening right then. See, Griffith is not happy. You can see his face, and you can see Parrot is taunting him. And like I said, they said he even patted him on the butt one time, man. That's a huge insult. They would have had the fight number 3 right there. If that had been me. That would have been the rubber match right there at the weigh-in. But anyway, Parrot insulted him in Spanish, called him American, right? Which means a very derogatory word. You can call another man in English, what American means, right? And Griffith was on the scales at the time. The contemporary newspaper Sports described the exchange without being specific about the insult, but did say that when asked afterward to pose with Parrot for photos, that Griffith replied, "I'd better not. I'm liable to swing on him right there." Okay, so yeah, they were supposed to pose, but Griffith said, "Nah, because if I go over there, get close to him again before the fight, we go ahead and fight right now," right? So the insult leveled by Parrot was American, understood by both boxers to mean a very derogatory word. It starts with an F, to call another man. That's instant fighting words right there. You call a man that, okay? So Griffith had worked at a women's hat factory and later designed hats. He would come out as bisexual in his later years. I think it was in the 1990s. But in 1962, allegations of homosexuality were considered fatal to an athlete's career, and a particularly grievous insult in the culture both fighters came from. Griffith was enraged by Parrot's taunt at the weigh-in, and it set the tone for the fight later that evening. He didn't have overnight to cool off, remember, because same day weigh-ins then, the fight was that same day, later on that evening, right? So let's look at the fight, how that played out, okay? What led up to that, and we're gonna talk about what the referee said, because a lot of people blame the referee, said he got in there too. He didn't get in there fast enough to break it up. So we're gonna see what he said about that too. Ruby Goldstein. Now, he was known to let fights carry on, He probably couldn't referee nowadays. They probably would get him for manslaughter because he was known for that, give him a fighter a chance. Because I think he was a referee in the 40s when Ike Williams and Bojack was in the corner with his hands down. And Ike Williams was pummeling him, telling him Goldstein to come stop it. And Goldstein came over there and looked at Bojack and stepped back and told Ike Williams, keep going, right? And Ike Williams, a boxer, with the muscle memory and stuff, so he just started pummeling him again, The referee told him continue. Okay, so let's look at the fight though. Oh my goodness, I don't know what happened. Bear with me for a minute, please. Momento. Okay, but how's everybody? It's Monday, right back at the beginning of another big week of boxing history. Got a big week planned for you too. And this is the big fight week for the big one, David and Brian Norman. Yep, this is it. Talk is almost over. It's Saturday. VR season. This is a good card too, because this is the one with Abdullah Mason and Sam something on there, remember? Abdullah Mason and Sam for the IBO. It's one, I forget, is it the IBO title? But it's a title on the line in this one. So that's on the card. So this is going to be a great card. Mm-hmm. Is Real Matias on this one too? And somebody I was reading earlier today that Bud and Earl talked about fighting again. Wow. So what is Earl gonna go to 160 or Bud gonna come back down to 154? That's interesting. But I was reading that a little while ago. Okay, let's look at this fight though between fight number 3. Okay, we got a lot of other stuff to get to too. Okay, there we go. The fight. So the weigh-in then happened, and Benny Parrett then called him that Dame, patted him on the butt. So yeah, Emile Griffith came into this fight mad. He wanted to kill Benny Parrett in that ring. But anyway, now in the 6th round, Parrett came close to stopping Griffith with a multi-punch combination, but Emile was saved by the bell. Okay. Now, see, if that bell hadn't sounded, the tragedy wouldn't have happened. Isn't that something? But the bell sounded and the fight went on. Saved Emile, because Benny almost had him out of there, right? Now, after the 6th round, Emile's trainer, Gil Clancy, later said, he told Emile, when you go inside, I want you to keep punching until Parrett holds you or the referee breaks you. But until that, you keep punching until Parrett either holds you or the referee breaks you. Okay? So, in the 12th round of the fight, Don Duffy, who was commentating the fight for ABC, remarked, "This is probably the tamest round of the entire fight." He didn't know what was getting ready to come. Seconds later, Griffith backed Parrett into the corner and unleashed a massive flurry of punches to the champion's head. Parrett was likely dazed by the initial shots, but at the point, he still put his gloves up to defend himself, okay? Parrett then slumped to the side against the ropes, his head and part of his upper body now out of the ring. Griffith held his shoulder, keeping him in position while using his free hand to punch Parrett. As Griffith repeatedly landed right uppercuts on Parrett's head, Parrett occasionally moved his arms, his head still outside of the ring. Referee Ruby Goldstein explained what he was seeing. This is what he said later. From long experience in boxing, this is the referee, from long experience in boxing, I have seen on numerous occasions boxers deliberately put their heads a little out of the ring, and this sometimes can be used as a sort of means of avoiding getting hit cleanly. Now, at the time, Griffith was throwing quite a few punches, but Parrett seemed to get his hand up and block a number of them. He did. He did get his hand up and was like he was defending himself. And the referee said he did get his hands up and block a number of them and roll with a couple of the punches. I thought this possibly was his strategy to roll out of this position and get his head back in the ring. I observed that twice he got his head back into the ring. Okay, that's what the referee said about it. Now, slow motion analysis of the fight accounts for 29 unanswered punches thrown by Griffith during that flurry. 29 unanswered punches. Now, how in the hell are you talking about somebody defending himself? 29 unanswered punches, and you still don't stop it? Nowadays, they would charge him with manslaughter, that referee, right? 29 unanswered punches. I think it's about time to stop it, right? Now, Manuel Alfaro, Parrett's manager, slimy guy there. Manuel Alfaro, Parrett's manager, now listen to this. Manuel Alfaro, Parrett's manager, was criticized for not retiring his boxer with a timely throwing in of the towel at this point in the fight. That's what this fool said. Alfaro said, I screamed for the referee to stop it, but apparently he didn't hear me. What the hell do you think you got the towel for then, right? If the referee didn't hear you, get in there and throw the towel over there. Wasn't that crazy? Parret's manager said he saw the trouble he was in and he screamed for the referee to stop it, but he didn't hear me. Ain't that what the towel is for? You got all this 29 unanswered punches. You know the crowd is screaming, going wild. The referee intent sitting there watching for the right moment to jump in and stop it. No, he didn't hear you, fool. So why didn't he just get in there and throw the towel in? That's what the towel is for, right? So I thought that was very crazy, his manager saying that. He didn't hear me. So he just didn't do nothing. Let it go on. Yeah, his manager takes a lot of blame for that, right? But isn't that what the towel is for? Mike Mazik in the building. What's up, Mike? How are you? That was just crazy for him to say that. His man, the referee didn't hear me. I was screaming for him to stop it. All he had to do was get in there and throw the towel over there. That's the purpose of it. Okay? So, yeah. His manager said, yeah, he didn't. I was screaming for the referee to stop it, but he didn't hear me. So he didn't do nothing. He just let it continue instead of throwing the towel, right? Now, after 29 consecutive punches by Griffith, the referee Goldstein stepped in, grabbed Griffith from the side, and stopped it, thereby awarding Griffith with a win by TKO, technical knockout. Now, immediately after the referee intervened, Parrett, who had remained on his feet throughout this assault from Emile, slowly slid down the ropes and collapsed on the mat, right? Initially thought to be from exhaustion. The Parret's team and Dr. Alexander Schiff of the New York State Athletic Commission surrounded Parret to attend to him. The Griffith team raised his arms when victory was announced, okay? So immediately after the victory, Griffith didn't celebrate. He returned to the corner where Parret had collapsed to check on him. But the people around Parret sent Griffith away, right? After a few minutes, Parret was carried from the ring on a stretcher. Now, Griffith, we're going to go over this a lot more in the documentary part of it. Now, Griffith told ABC interviewer Don Dunphy immediately after Parret was carried from the ring, "I'm very proud to be the world champion, but I hope Parret is okay." Which they would not tell me how he was doing before he left the ring. Now, Dunphy then introduced that has in hindsight been cited as the first use of instant replay in United States television history, right? This fight right here, first use of instant replay. He asked the clearly uncomfortable Griffith to walk through the fight's final seconds with him in detail. Now that's wrong. In the documentary, they say when this Don Dunphy, this fool, asked Griffith to look at the instant replay and narrate what was happening, Parret was still laying over there in the corner being attended to. He didn't even wait for them to get Parret out the ring. He got Emile standing there going through the instant replay narrating, right? Yeah, in detail. After the broadcast ended and the seriousness of the situation became known, Griffith went to the hospital where Parret was being treated and unsuccessfully attempted for several hours to gain entry to Parret's room. Following that, he went back outside where he was insulted by passers-by. Parret never regained consciousness after the fight, and he died 10 days later at Roosevelt Hospital in Manhattan from massive brain hemorrhaging. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So a whole lot went wrong in that. The manager, first of all, said he was screaming he saw how the trouble Parret was in it, and he was screaming for the referee to stop him, but apparently the referee didn't hear him. And instead of throwing the towel in, he just did nothing. Let it continue, right? And then this dumb broadcaster, Parret still over there in the corner dying, they're attending to him. He got Griffith in the middle showing him some replay of it, telling him to narrate it. And the man's still over there in the corner, right? So a lot of craziness happened in this, a whole bunch of craziness. So Benny Parrot versus Emile Griffith III was the subject of many controversies. It is theorized that one of the reasons Parrot died was that he was vulnerable due to the beatings he took in his previous 3 fights, all of which happened within 12 months, of each other. 2 with Griffith and 1 with the middleweight champion, Gene Fullmer. That had happened just 3 months before this one. He took a career-ending type beating in that fight, but Manny Alfaro, his trainer, threw him right back in there for money, right? He had took 3 severe beatings in the last year, okay? Now, the New York State boxing authorities were criticized for giving Parrot clearance to fight just 3 months after the former loss. The referee, Ruby Goldstein, a respected veteran, came under severe criticism for not stopping the fight sooner. Now, Goldstein explained in a 1964 interview, "I never blamed myself, but some of the people blamed me for not stopping it sooner. But the fight we're being fought right now, I still wouldn't have stopped it sooner." Parrot, well, this the referee talking. He said, "Parrot was a good, durable fighter who'd look in trouble early in a fight, but he'd come back to fire punches and win the fight. He was the champion of the world at the time. You give the champion a chance to fight back." It has been argued that Goldstein hesitated because of Parrot's reputation of feigning injury and Griffith's reputation as a poor finisher. Another theory is that Goldstein was afraid that Parrot's supporters would riot after the fight. Now, Goldstein would later reveal that he himself was scarred by the event, having nightmares, severe insomnia, and flashbacks to the fight. Yeah, referees are affected too. Because remember in the Dooku Kim Boom Boom Mancini fight, after that tragedy, the referee committed suicide. Remember? Yeah. Now, though officially cleared of wrongdoing, the New York State Athletic Commission officially cleared of wrongdoing by the New York State Athletic Commission, where the fight was at in New York. Goldstein let his license to referee lapse. After later applying for a new license, he would only referee 1 more fight in his career in March 1964 before retiring from refereeing permanently. And they had a lot of people calling for the banishment of boxing after that. New York Governor Nelson Rockefeller created a 7-man commission to investigate the incident and the sport of boxing. Now, this fight, among others, such as nationally televised Davey Moore versus Sugar Ramos the following year, which caused Moore's death, gradually led to the decline of boxing as a popular televised sport. Ultimately, ABC announced in December 1963 that it would cancel its weekly boxing program, Fight of the Week, in September 1964. That's what that fight was on, ABC's Fight of the Week. Professional boxing would not be televised on a regular basis again after that decline until the 1970s, over a decade later. It was only rarely aired in prime time until the following decade, the 80s. And then still not frequently on major networks. They still wasn't showing it that much on the major networks, even in the 80s. Now, Griffith would later receive hate mail from Parrot supporters who were convinced he had intentionally killed Parrot. He repeatedly felt guilt over Parrot's death and suffered nightmares for over 40 years. Yeah, because it was 40 years later when Benny Parrot's son requested a meeting with Griffith. Okay, and we're gonna cover that in a minute. Yeah. This fight and the widespread publicity and criticism of boxing, which accompanied it, became the basis of the 2005 documentary Ring of Fire, the Emile Griffith story. At the end of the documentary, Griffith, who has harbored guilt over the incident over the years, is introduced to Paret's son, Benny Paret Jr., and the son embraces Griffith and tells him he is forgiven. He had another son. Remember, his wife was pregnant with the other son. He ended up in prison for life. The other son did, right? So, yeah. Okay. So let's continue with the Emile Griffith, Benny Paret story. Let's look at this documentary now, Ring of Fire. Okay. I hope I can read my handwriting. Okay, let's look at the documentary called Ring of Fire, The Nightmares of Emile Griffith. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at that. This is really good. It's kind of long, so I'm going to be jumping around though. Yeah. The Nightmares of Emile Griffith. The documentary was called Ring of Fire. Yeah. Okay. The Emile Griffith story explores the ramifications of one of the most infamous moments in the history of professional boxing. On March 24th, 1962, at Madison Square Garden in New York City, Emile Griffith pummeled Benny Paret to death live on national television. Now, though he went on to become a 5-time world champion in the process, amassing a small fortune in prize money, a wardrobe of 50 designer suits, and a pink Lincoln Continental, the horror of having killed the man would haunt Griffith for more than 40 years. Okay, more than 40 years. Still, he achieved professional success because early in his career, he had resolved, I wasn't nobody's F word, you know, the derogatory term that Paret had called it. He said, I wasn't that. Okay? He said that early in his career. Even before he got to that fight, there was rumors of that. And he did come out like 1992 that he was gay. Okay? Now, when Griffith began to dominate the welterweight division in the early 1960s, homosexuality was deemed a disease, a crime against nature, as it remained for decades after, though increasingly to a marginally lesser extent, human progress being a game of inches. Now, perhaps because in addition to prize fighting, Griffith was a professional hat designer. Other boxers on the circuit thought he was gay and ridiculed him, especially Benny Paret, with mortal consequences. Now, Griffith's avenging rage would lead him down a long, tortuous path toward wisdom and forgiveness. Hold on for a minute. Excuse me for 1 minute. Yeah, this is long, so I'm going to be skipping around a little bit. That ain't working out too good there. Griffith versus Paret. There we go. Now where were we? The Nightmares of Emile Griffith. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, I'm gonna be jumping around a little. This is long, but yeah. Okay, we get ready to get back to it in a moment. Okay, this is the documentary Ring of Fire. Let's get back into it now. Okay. Now, Griffith's avenging rage will lead him down a long, tortuous path toward wisdom and forgiveness. Neither offering consolation for lessening the anguish born of his tragic victory. Now, the documentary does excellent work of fleshing out both Griffith and Parrot as complex human beings, shattering the stereotype of the boxer as heartless brutes. More than 4 decades after Parrot's death, his wife Lucy hadn't remarried because she didn't want their kid brought up by anyone else. Okay? And she's described Parrot as a devoted husband and an affectionate father to his infant son, Benny Jr., who was 2 years old at the time. And the other son was still unborn. His wife was carrying him. And Benny Parrot wanted his son to become a doctor or a lawyer, not an illiterate boxer like him. You know, that's what he said. He didn't want his son to become an illiterate boxer like he was. He wanted him to be a doctor or a lawyer. Okay? There's a shot of Emile. But like so many other fighters, Parrot was exploited by his manager, Manuel Alfaro, who had imported Parrot from Cuba and actually thought he owned the 2-time world champion. And the documentary puts most of the blame on for Parrot's death on Alfaro. Parrot had lost his last 5 fights, and just 3 months before the fateful Griffith fight, he'd been clobbered in a career-ending type fight rout by Gene Foreman, the middleweight champion. And Foreman said, "I never beat anybody worse than I beat Parrot that night." Okay? And after such a beating, a manager usually gives his fighter a few easy fights to build back his confidence. But Alfaro, hungry for cash, threw Parrot right back in the ring with Griffith, one of his toughest opponents. And remember, I was telling you about how he didn't stop it. He said he yelled, he knew Parrot was in trouble, and he yelled for the referee to stop it, but the referee didn't hear him. So he didn't do nothing, didn't throw the towel in. And as Parrot lay on the mat dying, Alfaro is reportedly to have said, "Now I have to go find myself another boy." Allegedly said that as Parrot was laying on the mat dying. "Now I have to go find myself another boy." Wow. Told you he was a slime ball, Manuel Alfaro. Okay, there's that weigh-in picture again. Parrot and Griffith at the weigh-in. Now, Parrot, however, did taunt Griffith before the second and third fights, calling him American. We went over that. Spanish for, the F word. Very derogatory term. Okay? So, yeah, Parrot did taunt him before the second and third fights. In an article in the New York Times entitled, "Parrot and Head Designer Griffith Gird for Welterweight Title," referred to Emile as an unman, right? The article in the New York Times called him an unman. So leading up to this fight, he had Parrot, other boxers calling him gay. Even the media was fixated and insinuating that he was gay, right? So yeah, all that played into what happened at the end of that fight. Okay. Now, Griffith said, "When I had Parrot in the corner in the 12th round, I was very angry. Nobody had ever called me such a derogatory name before. And yet, Griffith doesn't strike one as a brutal killer. And there's Parrett and Gene Former in the fight before the Griffith fight. And Parrett took a pounding in that fight from Former. That was like a career-ending type fight. Like I was saying, most managers would give their fighter a couple tune-up fights, to build the confidence of him. Everything. And Furrow threw him right back in there with Griffith, one of his toughest opponents ever, right? Now, according to his biographer, Ron Ross, at the start of his career, Griffith was reluctant to become a fighter. When ahead on points, his aggressiveness would wane. His trainer, Gil Clancy, really had to instill a killer instinct in him. Remember they would say that was another reason why Rudy Goldstein took so long to stop it, because Parrett was known to take a lot of punishment and come back. And Griffith was known to not have killer instinct. So the referee said all that figured into his decision, right? Now, Emile Griffith was devoted to his family and used the money he earned from his first 8 fights to bring his mother and 7 brothers and sisters, one by one, from the Virgin Islands to New York. So his first 8 fights, he bought each one of them, 8 of them, his mother and his 7 brothers and sisters, one by one, fight by fight, with his money he made from his first 8 fights. And he bought a house for them up in New York, bought them all to the United States, okay? Now, portrayed as a man of depth and sensitivity, obedient to his trainers, yearning both for a father figure and to be a father himself, Griffith later adopted a juvenile delinquent when, after his retirement from boxing, he became a youth house corrections officer. Now, the film's sympathetic portrait of Griffith contradicted the picture Arthur Norman Mailer painted of him, another slimeball. Now, Arthur Mailer said, according to Mailer, during the 12th round knockout, Griffith was making a pent-up whispering sound all the while he attacked. His right hand whipping like a piston rod, which had been caught in the crankcase, or like a baseball bat smashing a pumpkin. Mailer said Griffith was uncontrollable. According to Mailer, his trainer, manager, and cutman had all leaped in the ring. And along with the referee, all 4 of them was trying to pull Griffith back. Mailer said it took all 4 of them to pull him off, okay? But in reality, is the referee get ready to run in there? In reality, Griffith looked measured and focused as he punished Parrett in the corner. Looked like he was totally in control, like any fighter. Got his man in trouble trying to get him out of there, right? And when the referee stepped in to stop it, Griffith stepped back immediately. And there was no trainer, no manager, no cut man in the ring. Only one in the ring at the point of the stoppage was Griffith, Parrett, and the referee, Rudy Goldstein. But don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. So Mailer was just trying to sell his story, right? So he made up all that stuff. There was those, now Griffith didn't even really celebrate his victory, okay? He went back over to the corner to see how Parrett was doing. It was those around him, namely con artists like Norman Mailer, and the gangsters and the politicians in the front row, who went off, who was out for bloodlust, thirsty for blood, and for the violence of boxing, right? And the live footage of the events that took place after Parrett's collapse provides far more damning evidence of human cruelty and callousness than Griffith touching on it. Okay? In a moment of blood-curdling irony, with Parrot on the mat slowly dying, Griffith is interviewed at the center of the ring. Don Dunphy asks for the replay of the knockout in slow motion and asks Griffith to narrate it, as Parrot was still laying in the ring dying when he told him that, right? And then the interviewer Dunphy said, "That's beautiful camera work, isn't it?" And someone off camera said, "Terrific." All the while, Parrot's still laying in the ring dying. They working on it when all this nonsense going on, right? They probably would have thought it was even more terrific if chunks of Parrot's head had been pelting people in the front row. Right? That was crazy. They could have waited. The man was still in the corner being worked on, and they wanted Griffith to stand there and narrate the slow motion replay of it. Wasn't that crazy? Wow. Now, the fallout from Parrot's televised death after being replayed day and night for weeks, included sponsors pulling ads from Friday night fights, as in boxing was banned from television for more than a decade. And that brings us to another bone-chilling irony. And the reason Parrot was so popular among matchmakers and sponsors was because he could take so much punishment for 10 rounds before getting knocked out, securing more rounds of commercials before viewers changed the channel. But with Parrot's death, boxing became a scapegoat for Americans' collective guilt over its violent spirit and history. Nobody would admit to the friction they felt at watching a man die on live television. Okay? And after that, boxing endured a slow decline. And nowadays, it's still not back to where it was. It's been replaced by even more violent sports, like mixed martial arts, where a viewer can watch a heel kick shatter somebody's orbital bone. Okay? MMA. Now, his friend and newspaper journalist said, "This is a cold, cruel world. Come on, and we'll get going." That was the newspaper journalist, Jimmy Breslin, told him that, to admonish him to get over the fact he killed a man. But Emile could not. Over 40 years later, Griffith, rested and trembling, told the film's interviewer, "I sit here talking to you. I can still feel. I still get chills. Sometimes I still have nightmares. I wake up sometimes in a cold sweat. Memories come back. There's nothing you can do about it. Just let it flow." One cannot imagine the ceaseless stream of guilt and torment that flows from the knowledge of having killed a man one never intended to kill. A man who left behind a young wife, 2-year-old child, and another child unborn. She was pregnant with the second son. And then, when Emile learned that Benny Parrot Jr. wanted to meet him, at first, he was scared to have the meeting. Okay? But then, his conscience was what made him have a meeting with Benny Parrot Jr. Okay. So they met. That's when he never put it behind him, but that's when he really kind of came to grips with it. That's Benny Parrot's son, and Emile. And of course, Emile on the right. Of course, he had the son that was unborn at the time of his death, ended up in prison for life. I don't know what he did, but yeah. Yeah. Benny Parrot's other son. It is Benny Parrett Jr. and Emile Griffith. His conscience was what compelled him to have a meeting with Benny Parrett Jr. Okay? Yeah. His conscience got to him and said, go ahead, Emile, meet the young man. You killed his father. I'm kidding. But his conscience was what compelled him to have a meet. And he was glad he did, once they had it. And when Emile and Benny Jr. finally met, the raw sadness lies beyond comprehension. And there's genuine compassion and forgiveness between them. With painstaking details, the documentary shows that for the purpose of mass entertainment, there are people who suffer more than we can imagine. Yep. For the purpose of our entertainment, there are people that suffer more than we can imagine. Okay. Now let's take a look at Benny Parrett. Okay. We didn't look at him. Let's take a look at a little brief look at Benny Parrett's career now. I think it's time for that. It is Benny right there. If I can find it. Benny Parrett. Benny Kid Parrett, that is. That's what they call him. Benny Kid Parrett. Come on, man. Here it is. Nope, that ain't it. That's his boxing style. Here we go. Bernardo Parrett, better known as Benny Kid Parrett, was born March 14th, 1937, Santa Cruz, Cuba. And he was known as Benny Kid Parrett. He was a Cuban boxer who won the undisputed world welterweight championship twice in the early 1960s. Parrett's professional record at the time of his death was 35 wins, 12 losses, 3 draws, and 10 knockouts. Parrett won the welterweight title for the first time on May 27, 1960, by defeating Don Jordan. In his first defense of the title, he was knocked out by Griffith, April 1961. Now, he regained the crown from Griffith that September 1961 by a controversial split decision. Barely 2 months later, in between the second and third Griffith fights, Parrett took in on middleweight champion Gene Foreman and took a brutal beating on the way to being knocked out in the 10th round. At the time of the knockout, Benny was behind on all 3 judges' scorecards. And then 3 months after that, he had his final fight with Griffith. That was the one that ended his life. Okay? Yeah, that was the one that ended it. But a tragedy happened. Now there's him and Benny Jr. and his wife. Remember, they had another child. She was pregnant with the other child when he died. Okay. Oh, yeah, there we go, right there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's him and his wife and Benny Jr. Okay. Now, Benny was a cocky little man in his heyday. He favored bright, heavy jewelry, and he once cut sugarcane for $2 a day in the fields of Santa Clara, Cuba, where he was born. As I said, Santa Clara, Cuba, where he was born. Now, after his prize fighting career began, Benny purchased a 1962 Eldorado Cadillac and a 1962 Thunderbird. At the time of the fatal fight with Griffith, Benny had a wife and 2-year-old son, and another son was still in his wife Lucy's stomach at the time. After the tragedy, Paret's manager, Manny Alfaro, said that Benny had planned to retire after this fight. He was 25 years old when that happened. Okay, 25 years old. That's all he was. Okay, now I got a question. All right. If a boxer dies in the ring, is it considered murder? Is it murder if a batter in baseball nails the pitcher in the head with a line drive and he dies? Is it murder if an NBA center dunks on a smaller player, causing him to fall and break his neck, and he ultimately dies? The answer to all three questions is no, because as long as you are fighting in a sanctioned fight that's governed by a body that governs that sport, no, it can't be murder, right? Now, we've seen boxers face punishment for their vicious acts in the ring after the fight is over on occasion, but there's no crime if it happens within the legal confines of the ropes. If there's no malice or premeditation or steps taken to bypass the legal rules and regulations of a sanctioned fight, then it cannot be legally named as murder. Now, 2 men or 2 women willfully and usually wholeheartedly engage in a mutual and cooperating battle to pummel each other until one is named victorious over the other, whether it be by knockout or decision over a predetermined amount of rounds. Now, they both chose to be there, and it sometimes happens an accidental injury or death can occur, but there's no legal fault and or recourse for the fallen warrior's family or friends. It's not murder, okay? Most would probably say that as terrible of an outcome it was, they died doing exactly what they loved. People that don't absolutely love boxing do not go up those steps and climb between the ropes and get into the squared circle in the first place. You have to absolutely love it to even get in the first place, right? Arnie Boxing in the building. What's up, Arnie Boxing? Yeah, Emile, Griffith, and Benny Parrott. Now we're talking about how some fighters have actually got charged with murder. But nothing, I don't think anything has ever came of any of it, you know. But yeah, most of the time the families forgive you. Yeah, you have to love it to go up the steps and get in the ring in the first place. They know the risk. Just as those of us that work or have worked in other dangerous occupations know the risk. And accidents happen. It's sad but true. Now, one fighter killing another is a sad thing and bad look for the sport of boxing, but no, it is not murder. Now, with all of that said, there could be some criminal liability if the fight were not sanctioned by a universally recognized governing body. Say if you and the boys decide to throw up a ring in the backyard and 2 of y'all get in there and throw hands and somebody dies, then somebody's going to jail. Okay? In that situation, somebody's going to jail. Probably whoever's backyard it is, and the other one that the one that died, the other opponent, probably going to jail. Okay? You threw up a ring in somebody's backyard, getting there and throw hands and somebody died. Somebody's going to jail. Okay, in that situation. But not in a sanctioned fight. governed by a sanctioned body. Nah. And most of the and all the time the family forgives you because they know what their family members in for. Like Max Baer, I think the guy's name was Ernie Schaff. Him and Max Baer and his wife were sitting side by side at his bed in the hospital when he was dying. And she told Max Baer, "I don't blame you. That could be you laying there." Right? And then the Sugar Ray Robinson, the man died against him, and they tried to indict him, convened a grand jury and everything. But then they had such an uproar from the public and the man's family that they dropped it, right? Yeah, because, the man's family told him, our loved one doing exactly what he loved. You can't charge this man with no murder. And then the investigators sit there and asked Sugar Ray, did you realize you had hurt him or had him in trouble? And Sugar Ray looked at this fool and said, I'm trying to hurt him and get him in trouble. What are you talking about, right? That's the object of the sport. It's the hurt game. So yeah, can't be murder. No. But Max Baer, actually they tried to charge him with murder too. And he actually got suspended by the California State Athletic Commission. He sure did. But yeah, listen to this here. Since World War II, there's been like 500 people. No, since the Queensberry rules, there's been like 500 people that's lost their life due to boxing. Okay? We're going to go from World War II up to the 90s and name some of them. Some of the people that's lost their life in the ring. Okay. Over 500 since the Queensberry rules went into effect have been ring deaths or deaths as a result of what happened in the ring. Okay. I cannot get this to work. But it's going to work. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we're going to take a quick look at this. Okay. Who are some of the boxers who died as a result of injuries suffered in the ring? You will be stunned by how many boxers have died just since World War II. We're going to name some of those from 1945 to 2000. Now, boxers have died since the beginning of the sport. Around 500 boxers are known to have died in the ring or as a result of boxing since the Marquis of Queensberry rules were introduced in 1884. And you'd be stunned just how many since World War II in the 40s. Go from 1945 to the 90s, okay? And in 1953 alone, Ring Magazine said over 20 men died just that year. Now, most names are lost to history. So the names we're going to read today are just the better known victims. In 1947, Jimmy Doyle died of brain injuries 17 hours after being knocked out by Sugar Ray Robinson in a world welterweight title fight. 15 months earlier, Doyle had suffered a severe concussion in a fight with Artie Levine. And eerily, remember, we went over this. A few days before the fight, Sugar Ray Robinson had a dream where he killed Doyle in the ring and refused to fight him. But his team convinced him to fight after a priest intervened and told Sugar Ray it was not real. But the dream turned out to be real. Yep. In 1953, like I said, the ring reported 22 boxers died as a result of injuries sustained during boxing. Just that year alone, 1953. 1962, that was the one we covered today, Benny Parrott died of brain injuries. 1963, Davy Moore died after collapsing in his dressing room after he was beaten by Artemio Ramos. That was for the featherweight title. And that was after when they banned TV for over a decade. That was a result of the Benny Parrott and Davy Moore. Both of them happened on TV, right? So they said, no, that's enough. 1964, Lynn James died in the hospital from a brain injury. That was the decade's first fatality in British boxing. 1969, 4 days after a points defeat, Ulrich Regis died after surgery to remove a blood clot from his brain. 1972, Mick Pinckney choked on his own blood after a fifth-round knockout. The inquest report said there was no sign of where the blood had come from. Wow. 1978, Angelo Jacopucci collapsed and died after fighting Alan Minter for the European middleweight title. And European title fights were shortened to 12 rounds as a result of that. Remember, internationally didn't do it until like the late 80s, but 1978, Europeans shortened their title fights from 15 to 12 before they did it internationally. I think the WBC was the first one to go internationally from 15 to 12, but European title fights, they did it before then. 1979, Willie Klassen died after he lost to Wilfred Scipio in New York. A few weeks earlier, he had been knocked out in 2 rounds by British champion Tony Simpson. 1980, Lupe Pintor of Mexico beat the Welshman Johnny Owen for the WBC bantamweight title. Owen died 6 weeks later, having never regained consciousness. And like I've said, the family I have never heard of a family blaming their opponent. As a matter of fact, Johnny Owen was from Wales. His family, now Lupe Pintor was the one in the ring, was the one he was fighting in the fight after he died. And Johnny Owen's family, Wales put up a statue of Johnny Owen, and his family requested Lupe Pintor to be the one come unveil the statue. And Pintor went and did it. So yeah, the family had Pintor come unveil the statue. And he was the one their family member was fighting when this happened. So the family don't blame their opponent. They know what the story is. 1982, young Ali collapsed on the way out of the ring after being knocked out by Barry McGuigan. He lay in a coma for several months and died in December. 1982, this was the Duke Koo Kim, was carried from the ring in a coma after he was beaten by Ray Mancini for the WBA lightweight title. He never regained consciousness and died 4 days later. And that was the catalyst for internationally going from 15 to 12 rounds everywhere. Remember, European fights had done it in 1978, but it was worldwide after the Duke Koo Kim. But it happened in 82, but it was still almost the end of the decade before they actually put it into effect. Yeah, Jimmy Doyle, Arnie boxing, yeah. Sugar Ray had a dream that was going to happen, and it happened. That was crazy. Kiko Bajines died of brain injuries after defeat by Albert DeVillo for the WBC bantamweight title. Yeah. So yeah, it's part of this. Unfortunately, it's part of it. You know, it happens, and unfortunately, it's going to happen again. You know, the brain is up there in the head, and the brain ain't meant to be, you know, punch throwing like that, right? It just isn't. So, you know, and you got the blood flowing to your brain and everything, and one punch could, you know, blood could get all clotted up. People have died from that, you know. So, but you know, it's part of the sport, and yeah, it's not murder because you know everybody signed up for it. You know, have to sign some kind of forms or something before the fight. It's like a medical thing that after you get your physical or whatever, you got to sign some kind of medical form or something. But you know what you signed it up for. But you know, it's still unfortunate that it happens. You know, what the hell is that? Let me see something. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, there we go. Bear with me for a minute, please. How's everybody today? This is the big one here. Devin and B. Norman. You find honor. I'm wavering now, too. I was staunchly Devin all these months, but now I'm wavering, too. I'm getting ready to go to B. Norman, too. But right now, I'm still Devin. But by Friday, who knows? I might be B. Norman by Friday. But it's this weekend, so make up your minds. Don't ride the fence. I'm just waiting to see what happens. Nah. But it's I don't know. It should be a pretty good fight. A lot of people want to see Devin get knocked out. I just hope, since you know, with the subject we talking about today, I just hope both of them come out of it safely. That's all. That's the main part, you know, no matter who wins. And both go home to their families, right? I'm happy. Oh, shoot. Yeah, where were we? Okay, there's the link. Let's see. Yeah, oh, we were 1985. Yeah, Sean Thomas died of head injury suffered in a lightweight fight against Chris Calvin. That was in 1985. Yeah, 500. Since the Queensberry rules been put into effect, and Mike Massey got Norman Jr. in a good fight. Okay. Al Booger in the building. Al Booger said he wavering too. Yeah. Yeah. Norman carried that dynamite. Never gonna have to work his way through some few dangerous exchanges. He ain't gonna be to run all night. I mean, he ain't gonna go in there and stand toe-to-toe all fight, but he gonna have to work his way through some tough moments. Because Norman gonna catch him a couple times. You know, this ain't no Jose Ramirez, okay? You know, Norman ain't just all power. So it just depends on how Devin work his way through it. But it's this weekend though. Okay. It's this weekend. That's the good thing about it. We don't have long to wait. Fight week. And you know, David Benavidez and Yard is the main event, but ever since this thing been signed, Devin and Brian Norman been getting most of the attention. Right? They sure have. Devin and B. Norman, they're getting most of the attention. You know, a lot of people want to see Devin get knocked out. I don't know why. Yeah, that's the Sugar Ray one there. When he, oh damn. I ain't gonna say kill the guy. The guy died after. Kill the guy sound like somebody did something on purpose, when you say that. But when the guy died in the ring. What's up, Define Arnie?
How you doing, sir?
All right, pretty good. How was your weekend?
It was good, but most of the things didn't go my way.
Oh, the fights?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I had Eubank too. Yeah. Conor Ben. And then he dropped him. Eubank was kind of off from the beginning, though, to me. How did he look to you? Did you see the whole fight?
I haven't, actually. I was working and my mobile phone was acting up, but I've seen a bunch of highlights.
Yeah.
And it damn near looked like Conor Ben just pitched a shutout in the fight.
Yeah, Eubank, I don't know if it's something off. Well, he even admitted that he didn't make excuses, but he said he wasn't himself. So they should have the rubber match though. Now it's 1-1, right?
I was thinking, and I mean, if they want to do it, I'm fine, but
you don't think they should?
I don't.
Why not?
I kind of want to see what Conor Ben has over at 47 or maybe 54.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. That was at 160, right?
Yeah. And he said, or Eddie said, I can't remember which one of the two, they said that they were going to go to 47. And that's the smartest move, because if you're ever going to get your hands on a title or at least fight for one, it's going to be in this 47 division.
Yeah, it ain't going to be up there. Neither side committed to no third fight, though. So I think you're probably right. I don't think we're going to see one.
Yeah, I mean, again, like if they want to have it, I'll watch it, of course. Yeah. But I want to see what Conor Ben has,
Yeah.
Let's have him. Let's have him against Ryan, against Barrios, against Rolly, against whoever.
Yeah, some of them guys. Because he ain't really fought nobody, tell you the truth. Well, I mean, he's been fighting professional boxers, but I'm talking about as far as top level.
Right.
He's really been in there with nobody, to be honest.
So now you build some momentum your way. So let's see if you can carry that over.
That's right.
Because if you really want to one up the Eubanks, you become a champion, because Eubank Jr. wasn't able to do that.
Mike said no more too. Yeah, say it again though. I was reading the chat.
No, I'm saying, like, if you wanna really one up the Eubanks. Because if Conor Ben can become a champion, and we all know that Eubank Jr. fell short at that,
right?
That would really one up them. The Bens.
Yeah,
up
that
the
would.
Eubanks, so.
Especially you have to beat them, then go back there and then get a title. Yeah, that would.
Absolutely. But I wanted to tell you the reason why I am flipping I'm choosing Beanorn the Storm for Devin. It's not because I want to see Devin knocked out or anything like that.
Oh no, I'm just saying I hear how some people talk. Yeah, you have
for sure.
Like that, yeah. But what was the reason you said you went to Norman though?
I've been watching him a lot, and not only his fights, but I'm loving how he's conducting himself.
Okay.
I'm loving everything I'm hearing. He talks like a fighter, walks like a fighter. He doesn't talk like. Yeah, I mean, I love that.
His father could say a little bit less,
For sure. For sure.
I mean, I don't like that part of it, man. Sure, it's your son and you're proud of him, but all that talk and stuff between the fathers. No, just stop it, man. Him and Bill Haney all on the boxing boards, and like they fight. Let the sons get on there and talk.
Exactly. I mean, listen, not for nothing, Bill, when he wants to, is super entertaining.
Yeah.
When he wants to. And the same for Senior,
Yeah. But sometimes you get to be a bit much,
Yeah, I mean, Bill Haney.
They argue with each other.
Yeah, but if you're Bill Haney, bro, you don't need to be mentioning nobody's mother, bro.
No, I know. Leave that out of it. Yeah, leave that out of it.
You know that stuff in your 20s, let alone in your 50s.
That's right. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, that really threw me off. But listen, he's had some moments where I just died laughing as well.
Yeah,
So
me too.
um,
Yeah.
he's like a there are people in this world that there's two sides to them. You
Mhm.
know, the good and the bad, like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of thing.
Right.
Um, and he's one of them for sure.
He can be entertaining, like a Rolly, you know.
Exactly. Even an Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner has made me
Yeah.
die laughing as well,
AB.
but he's
Yeah.
also said a few things that I'm like, bro, chill out, you know, like.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. AB.
Um,
That's another one. Has it
but
how's the show coming along? And been able to, you've been coming on regular, still like 9, 10ish.
yeah, I mean the
Okay.
Saturday. Excuse
Did
me.
you call
I'm
the
sorry,
fight Saturday?
I call mostly the UFC.
Oh, okay.
I called the UFC. I was flipping back and forth a little bit between the Mexico card.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't too interested. I'm gonna tell you this: Lindolfo Delgado is not that good, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
He was the co-main. He you know, he's one of those names that Mexicans have as probably the next guy to take the quote unquote torch when Canelo, you know, fades into the sunset.
Who was that?
Lindolfo Delgado. He's one of those dudes that they
Okay.
have as a probable like next superstar, but I don't see it. I don't
Yeah.
see it. I mean, I think they're gonna be better off with Espinosa or Pitbull or
Yeah.
even Raul Curiel, you know, who's about to rematch Alexis Rocha. So, I
What
mean,
about Bam? Well, Bam is Mexican American though, right? So does that count? Mexican American?
I mean, sure, but you know, Bam's got the lower weight curse.
Right. Yeah. That's true.
Same with Olascuaga and same with a bunch of dudes, you know, because
And
if you
then
see,
Virgil act like he running scared, so people kind of like backing up off of him. Because he wasn't, after this last fight, he wasn't supposed to have been saying nothing but Boot's name, man. Nothing.
exactly.
Got in the ring and everything, and he talking about Earl, Bud. So come on, man. That's not a good look.
Errol is the more egregious. Errol is the more egregious because he's damn near out for 2.5 years, bro.
I mean, people been talking about Boots and Virgil for 2 years, and then after that fight, that's all we supposed to be hearing now is Boots and Virgil. Where did Earl and Bud and all these people come from all of a sudden? And then the man got in the ring with you, and all of a sudden, well, my dream fight is Earl. That's not a good look at all, man. To me, it ain't. Mm-mm.
This is not the time for that either. This is a time for the big fights to be made. You're coming into your prime. You're in your late 20s. You know, like this is afterwards. This is either early in your career or in your 30s. You know,
Earl is later for your dream fight and all of that. You know, now if Earl was in there regularly fighting, looking good and everything, yeah. But Earl hasn't fought since 2020. What, 3 or 2?
I think he's 23, but
yeah,
I mean, Errol, not only the inactivity, I mean, he's coming off of a massacre of a loss,
right?
And on top of that, he's had I don't know how many operations in his eyes.
Yeah, you would at least want to see him get a fight in first,
right? At least one.
Not
at
just
the very
jump right
least
in there
one.
with Virgil. But that's what he's going after. So they're telling me that he's just an opportunist. He's just trying to pad his record and get big names on it, no matter what stage of their career at. That's all that he seems like to me now, man. He don't really want no smoke.
For sure.
No.
For sure. I'm done. I'm close to being absolutely, well, not close.
I am done with him.
I am done, yeah.
I
am done with him, man.
After I heard Earl Spence come out of his mouth, I thought it was boots. You know, now, between them two, this is supposed to be it. Everybody thought that. Some people are going to sit there and play defense for him, but they was thinking Boots too. Everybody was.
Yes.
And if they say they wasn't, they lied.
And here's the thing: you ain't got nowhere to hide if you're Virgil, and let me tell you why. Even if, okay, two things. First off, even if the Errol Spence fight gets made, what and you go out there and you steamroll through him, right. What is that supposed to do for you?
Nothing.
like everybody gonna say, and rightfully so, listen, you're getting the corpse of Errol Spence Jr., bro.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting. And number two, a guy on my chat the other day was saying Virgil is after the money, and I'm like, that makes it even worse because there's no bigger money fight than Boots, so you ain't got nowhere to hide, bro.
I don't know. Some people saying Errol Spence is a bigger money fight than Boots. How?
No way in hell. Right now, no. 2 years ago, maybe. 2 years ago, maybe.
But now Boots and Virgil is one of the biggest, might be the biggest fight in boxing right now.
You know what? I think so. I mean, I'll have to think about it. I'll tell you this: it's definitely top three. It's definitely top three.
Top three. Definitely.
I mean, that's what pisses me off about this game, bro.
I would say Tank and Shakur, or who else would be bigger than Boots and Virgil?
I'm thinking because I don't think. I mean, I guess you can make a case for Inoue and Nakatani, but that's mainly in Japan. You know,
but like you said, the lower weight class curse too.
Exactly, exactly. So they don't really fit the bill for that reason. Right. Yeah. And Zurdo and Opetaya don't really fit the bill either because nobody cares about the cruiserweights.
Right.
I'm the only crazy one that, I mean, not only me, but there's only a few of us that
and I think that's going to be a massacre anyway.
Me too. But it is a hell of it is like a big fight. It is a big fight in my opinion.
Yeah, it is. That's true. There's Thomas Hill.
I guess you can make the case for like Benavides and Bivol maybe, but I'm not so sure about that either. You know? What's up, T Hill? How you doing? God bless you.
What's good, my good people?
Well, what's up? How you doing this afternoon?
Man, fantabulous. I was blessed with another day, even though I didn't deserve it, man. So that's grace and favor, dog. You know, I can't be mad at it.
How was the weekend?
The weekend was busy.
Yeah.
It was busy, but it passed, and we're here, and we got another day of Cash Sports, the box story, and we got a special guest by the name of Irony Boxing. And the irony of that is that we got a hell of an event coming up this weekend. So, yeah, man. Shout out to all my good people in the chat.
Fight week, yeah.
You want to get into this now, or you want to get into this a little later in the week?
We can talk a little bit about it now.
Yeah, we can like skim through it,
Yeah.
So go ahead, Gio, I'm sorry.
No, you can start.
I'm gonna give you my picks and how I think it will end. I'll leave the why for later. I got Benavides stoppage round 9 or 10. I got Abdullah stoppage round 5 or 6. I have Bam Rodriguez stoppage. Maybe that one's kind of he's gonna stop him. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. Maybe he'll take some time. I'll just leave it at stoppage there. And the only, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I got Brian Norman by late stoppage. I'm officially flipping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you did it early. You didn't wait till the fight started or something like something he had. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good. I agree with that. That's what everything you said. What about you, T Hill? On the card Saturday.
Well, I got Benavides by decision.
Okay.
I think that it's gonna be a hell of a fight until your boy starts to fatigue. Unfortunately, that's been his nemesis, is his conditioning, his I guess lack of road work. Or
muscles,
Yeah. And that takes a lot of energy. So in order for you to train for that, you got to go in higher altitudes. And another thing that he should do is like in a swimming pool, he should run across side to side. If they got like a pool that's just got a long 3 foot or 5 foot thing where he can run in the water, that would help himself too. For Devin and I'm somewhat torn on that one, man. It's all dependent really upon which Devin goes into the ring.
Yeah.
If the right Devin goes in there and he's able to maneuver that fight, without catching big shots, then my money's on him because the money is on him for a decision.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not, and he gets clocked, from what I seen in the first fight, there's no Floyd Mayweather survival techniques or methods that he can employ, man, that has in his base that know how to thwart, so he can get his bearings back together. And Norman is a better finisher than Ryan Garcia is, in the fact that he doesn't rush to finish,
Mm-hmm.
and he sets up his punches a lot better. So,
Great point.
That could end disastrously in your boy Devin's favor. So I will maintain that the money behind Dev, the devastating or catastrophic event could happen behind Norman. So depends on Devin Haney entirely and which mindset he comes in there. Bam versus Puma. Puma's there to get hit, bro. He's dangerous, but he's there to get hit, and Bam does a lot of hitting, and he's dangerous too. So I got Bam by like 9th round stoppage. The other fight was once again who again?
Abdullah and Sam Noakes.
Ah, shoot, I got Abdullah by round 4 or 5 stoppage.
That's it.
Damn near the same. I'll tell you this, T Hill. I wouldn't be shocked if Bam stops Puma early, though. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, because he's there to be hit.
Yes.
But Bam does recognize that people are most dangerous in the earlier rounds. So, he usually does a lot of his movement there, and plus is giving them looks of uncertainty. So he wants them to be a little bit perplexed and confused. But I could see it going down early as well too, bro. I'm not oblivious to that.
We got Kensaw Love 1. What's up, Kensaw Love 1?
Shout out to the nephew.
I would say I got Devin by decision. He's gonna maneuver his way to a decision. He's gonna have to might get in some tough spots, but he's gonna work his way through them. Like you said, to as long as he don't get clocked, get caught with that big flush shot. If that happens, that's it. So,
Yeah, so he didn't respond well to when he got clocked by Ryan Garcia. What did he do? He didn't do anything that you would do to help curb that momentum, get your bearings back together, and thwart what the person is trying to do to finish him. It's just that he just so happened to have some resiliency and some good shape where he can avoid that. But this is a different opponent. I don't believe Ryan really was taking the training serious the last couple of fights. He been on some stuff. It's possibly what's going on in his house, because there's been some issues going on with his family, and he ain't been exactly the most focused and dedicated fighter. This dude Norman is coming. He understands this assignment. He understands this purpose. He understands this moment, and he's gonna capitalize if he can get him into that position. So, yeah.
I love something that B Norm said, and this is one of the reasons why I'm becoming a believer in B Norm the Storm, because he was responding to something Devin said. Devin was saying like, he ain't really. I'm paraphrasing here, right? But he said something like, he ain't fought no big names, which is true. Okay, it is true, but B Norm's response was perfect. He said, listen, once upon a time, Ali never fought anybody either. Once upon a time, Mike Tyson didn't fight anybody either. Floyd, everybody. So they all had that breakout performance that enabled them to have a legendary career. And this is mine. So this tells me that B Norm recognizes that this is his chance. I'm not going to say his only chance because he's so young, right? But this is his chance that to to have his breakout performance, to have the first real big name on his resume, and to just take off from there. So I love Bean Norm, man. I can't say that enough, man. I've been sleeping on him. I don't know. Don't ask me why, but now I'm awake.
This would be a huge win for him if he could get this one, especially if he get him up out of there. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because nobody else has ever gotten Dev up out of there. Nobody else has had the better of Dev. Hell, the fight that we're talking about with Ryan Garcia won maybe 4 rounds.
Yeah.
It's just the way he won those 4 rounds gave him a split decision.
They had 3 knockouts, 3 knockdowns.
Yeah, well, it should have been 6. Should have been 6, but they didn't give him 3.
Yeah.
But
Devin won the most rounds, but Ryan had those 3 2-point rounds, So
and then he had other rounds where they didn't count knockdowns as knockdowns, so they would have also widened the margin some. But
and you're right, T.
Go ahead.
Just real quick, you're right. He's a better finisher than Ryan. He has that hunter. He has a hunter like a patience to finish, and I'm telling you, if he gets to him, if he can't get, that's the thing. Devin, in order for Devin to win, bro, he's gonna have to be on his P's and Q's every second of this fight, bro. That's what I think.
So with that being said, and what I said before, and then what you corresponded, knowing the assignment and knowing the moment. You said he's young. He can still come back from it, which is true. However, Devin Haney relatively young too. But he's in this fight not because of choice. He's in this fight not because this is the path that he chose or this is what he wanted. He's in this fight because they're only going to give him fights that look like this because of how they feel about him as promoters.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Tom and Jerry thing.
Right. I was getting ready to say that.
So he can only get certain fights here on out. They're not going to pay for him to be in the ring.
You're cutting. He
somebody that can't. Yeah, they're not gonna put him in there with no more Jose Ramirez's or nobody like that. That's what he was saying. Yeah, I agree with that.
No, I agree with that also. And I mean, that's that can be a good thing. That would be the ultimate proof that you're the real deal. But I definitely see what he's saying. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, my bad. But he. So Norman sees that anybody that's not looking to hate on people and really looking to understand what they're seeing can see that, bro. I hear a lot of people say a lot of things, and it's like without context. I read books, and sometimes I have other people read books, and they tell me what they think, and it's without context. The context is Devin has to have this fight to get the type of money that he is accustomed to receiving for fights. They are no longer paying for him to be in fights where he is clearly the favorite. Now, we throw aspersions to a lot of folks because they're not giving us the fights we want to see. Let's be clear, there's only a handful of fighters who are actually giving people the fights they want to see, and most of those fighters happen to be quote-unquote B-side fighters. They're not the people that the money is behind. Now, the money not behind Dev in the fact that in the sense that it used to be, but right now the money still is with Dev because what are they promoting as his next fight?
You mean after this one?
I don't know.
Yeah, they promoting
the rematch. Rematch, yeah.
Right.
There's big money in the rematch. What's the next fight they're promoting for Brian Norman?
Oh, rematch between these two?
No, the rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney.
Okay.
There's money in that.
Yeah, even if he loses, they probably still gonna have that, right?
But I'm just saying the luster is gone for that fight if he loses and the way he loses. So that might be dependent upon how he looks in this fight.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
Yeah.
We know the money is behind him though, because that's the fight they want to see. But another difficult fight for him. The fights for Devin Haney that they will promote for him, unless he dominates these people, and he got to dominate Norman, he got to dominate Ryan in a rematch for him to start being back on good footing with people. Because right now, the only way they're going to pay for him to be in the ring is if he's in the ring with somebody they believe will get him out of there. And that's because of performances and because of the way that they've conducted their business. And Norman can see this clear as day. You know what I'm saying? If you look at how people treat him, if you look at how people speak about him, if you look at the fights that he's been taking, and you look at this fight and how it came out of nowhere, this is only because, you know what? This is a fight that I will pay for you to be in. And oh, by the way, no Tom and Jerry stuff. So yeah, man, Brian Norman, no, I lose this, I might not get that look ever again. That's what makes him dangerous. Because he knows that this could be the only opportunity I get. They probably won't be willing to pay for me to get up in the ring. They thought they was executing him against Santillan. He just
That's true.
When he won that one.
They took him there to lose. That was the only reason they took him there to that San Diego.
Yeah, they didn't think that he had what it take to do it. He just put that ish together. And Santillan wasn't, you know, who was Santillan under? Which banner is he under?
Robert Garcia, you know it.
Well, you know, yeah, and he's under Golden Boy Promotions. You know, he's been match made like a champ. The thing for Brian Norman, he hadn't looked spectacular in all his fights. So it fortunately came to him that, you know, somebody that he favors prominently well against was somebody that they thought they were lining him up to look good because he just comes forward. And Santillan loves people that come forward.
Right. Yep.
They just were sorely mistaken. And ever since then, you know, if we look at some of his people that were supposed to be his banner fighters, Rocha, he got made to look bad in a fight. You know, Zerto, he got made to look bad in a fight.
With the other guy, what's the name that got knocked out by the French guy?
Your boy Munguia, he got made to look bad in front of another fighter.
Speaking of the French guy, he's fighting Osles Iglesias, bro. They're putting him through the wood chipper.
Yeah, he's about to get executed. Yeah, he's about to get executed.
Yes. I think they announced it. Bruno Soras versus Osles Iglesias.
Yeah, because they don't want him to go and challenge for the title because, you know, of the second time that they fought, and they don't want a possible rematch with him, man. Because
let me say this real quick. I would much rather see the trilogy between Munguia and Bruno Soras than I want to see the trilogy between Eubank and Ben. To be honest with you.
Absolutely. But the Golden Boy don't want that though, because Golden Boy know that he has things that are predisposed for him getting his ass lined up. That's why he ain't been fighting certain fighters.
Well, he's gonna fight Emile now, so I think he's gonna get.
You know, he about to get lined up.
Yeah.
He about to get lined up because Emile not following no script, and he's all business. You know, I saw that Martinez fight. A lot of people said they thought Martinez won. I'm like, how?
Nah.
I had it a draw.
Yeah, I did too. I couldn't distinguish nothing between either one.
I think Emile took over the first. Emile took over the first half, but Lester started to come around toward the second half. That's how I saw it.
But they was battling, and you know, they were both right there in the pocket. So you know, I would have hated to been a judge for that one. That was very hard to judge.
They're matching up Emile because Emile, I don't think Emile can hang with boxers. Emile can only hang with fighters that will match his style, like a Lester Munguia. If Emile gets in there with a boxer, he's cooked, in my opinion. So
you think Munguia fighting Emile?
Yeah. Emile declined the rematch with Lester, and he chose Munguia instead. And Munguia, I don't think Munguia can withstand that power.
No, he's going to sleep.
Yeah, for sure.
He's not no Lester. He can't take that punishment.
He ain't got no defense worth to speak of, to be honest with you. So, yeah.
He can't take that he probably can't take that for 6 rounds. Munguia. Because, you know, Billy's going to come nonstop. He got the chin, gas tank, everything, man.
He starts real quick, too. You don't take no time for nothing.
He can do that for 15 rounds. You know?
Yeah, that's probably...
He don't have no feeling out period. He just come out there. That's it. Let's go.
That's probably going to be an early stoppage. I wouldn't be shocked if he does it, you know? But I don't like Iglesias versus Bruno Soros, bro. They're really putting Bruno through the wood chipper, bro. Like, seriously. But listen, Iglesias is the real deal, bro. I've been saying that forever. Iglesias is about to take over 168, and we'll see. I mean, 2026 is looking real fire, bro.
Good. Early.
Not for nothing. Yes.
Early. Yeah. Yeah.
Matchroom. You see the announcement on the announcement of Matchroom. They have Bakram and Josh. They have 4 events already, right? They have Bakram and Josh Kelly. They have Lee Wood versus Josh Warrington 2. Separate events, right? They have Murataya versus Andy Cruz, and I forgot about the other one. What's the other one? I forgot. I'm sorry. There's another one.
What about Shakur and Tio? They still in talks?
I think that's official, but that's a good question, actually.
That's early too. Wow.
T-Hill, you know something about that? Because I don't know if it's official, but T-Hill might know something about that.
Insecure, yeah.
I think it's officially unofficially official. I don't know. So the problem with that is, like I said, man, Bob Arum. Yeah. Bob Arum holds that belt right now. Currently, he's in that. He I don't know if he holds another belt at that division.
Right, Tio. He hates to see belts go too.
And he ain't trying to let that belt go.
Any kind of fight where his fighter is supposed to lose, he ain't gonna make it. He always like that, man. Yeah,
and I do know that they have a strained relationship, and he really want to get him up out of there. But I think he would rather it be Keyshawn Davis. Yeah, so I'm thinking that they're trying to line that up because they're trying to get him highly ranked in the division.
And they both his fighters. So
So that's the fight that I think will take place more so. The only other fight I see with that with T.O. is Nair Albright, because I believe they have a great working relationship with him, and they can get that that Albright versus Keyshawn rematch.
Is Albright Aaron T.O.?
You said what?
Is he with Top Rank? Albright?
I don't think he's officially with them, but I think has a very good working relationship with them.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
So they feel like maybe if he can get the belt, they can get the fight.
Wow.
They could tell him, man, we can line you up, get you the belt. All you got to do is go in there and handle T.O., and then we can get that rematch popping. You know, that bad blood.
Right.
The matter of Keyshawn, I mean, not for nothing. I think Shakur already said that even if he beats T.O., he's vacating because he's not going to campaign at 40. So.
He said they're going to vacate the belt.
So yeah, on the back of that, you might want to just do the fight and get T.O. out of there, and then Shakur vacates, and then it's Keyshawn's time. You know,
that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it could go that way, but then there's this.
I'm losing that belt.
There's this. Think about the relationship that he and Shakur had before Shakur left. He didn't care to put together a unification fight. He called it a stupid fight. People rarely bring this up. I'm the only person that bring this point up. He has 2 fighters that have the belt. They could unify easily because they're under the same banner, and unifications are what fighters look to certify themselves for. He had a chance to make the fight. Shakur was asking for it, and he was vehemently against it, and was saying it was a stupid fight, to the point where he didn't show up until the last day to promote the fight, and he only spent 15 minutes there when he showed up because he was so opposed against the fight. And it's only because he needed the fights to not happen so that he can have 2 assets and 2 outlets for his future fighters to be champions. So Shakur didn't like the fact that he wasn't trying to allow him to go on and get the belts unified, and on top of that he didn't show up and support him. And then Shakur walked away with one of his belts. if he didn't walk away, he would have had all 3 belts at 135.
Yeah.
Bob ain't forgetting this, man.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if Bob is fully, over that fact. And if he would have been able to get him another fight, he would have had to fight some more, dog, because of the way that they had a contract stipulated. So I think the only way that fight happens is if Shakur he signs back with Top Rank.
Is Noakes with Top Rank too? Sam Noakes?
Noakes?
Top Rank?
I think he's Matchroom.
Because their belt is vacant. So if Abdullah wins, the Godfather will have another one, because he had it, then Loma vacated it, right? So, yeah.
Yeah,
They fighting for the belt. Loma vacated, right? I think. Or did Muratalla get that one? I don't know.
Yeah, no. He was elevated after. He fought Saur Abdullaev and to become like number 1, right? And then Loma retired, and then he was. I don't think he fought anybody literally for the belt, right?
Yes. He got elevated. He fought the Russian guy for the interim. Remember? That was a tough fight he had. That one, remember?
That was a tough ass fight.
Yeah, that was for the interim.
It
So
wasn't
he really
like
did fight for it because he beat him for the interim. So
because people say that Abbas Barao was elevated, and that's true, but he actually beat the I can't remember if Joannis Tellez was interim. He was something. He was either regular, interim, or something like that. So when Bud moved up, he became like a full champion,
Hey, he's for Kingsbury.
Abbas?
Yeah.
Oh,
No. Sam Noakes. He's Queensberry.
Okay.
Frank Warren. Yeah.
Yeah. So if Abdullah wins, Bob will keep that. And what did the vacant belt Abdullah and Sam fighting for? What belt is that?
The BA. That's the I'm sorry, the BO. The W. Which?
How did that become vacant?
I'm sorry, WB. It's the BA or the BO, one of the two.
Well, how did that become vacant? Who had it?
Keyshawn.
Oh, that's right, Keyshawn.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it now. I got the whole picture now. Yeah. So Muratalla got the one that Loma vacated. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that Loma didn't want to get in the ring and relinquish or take another one, because they could have took another belt that they could have had. They could have had a chance to disperse 2 more belts.
Yeah, Loma.
But he wasn't in the mood to fight anymore until he saw Shakur at the event. The Keyshawn Davis, was it the Keyshawn Davis fight?
Say that again?
The one where he beat the other guy from Ukraine.
Yeah, where Keyshawn beat the other guy.
Yeah, Dennis. Yeah,
or was it the other guy, Usyk? It was the Usyk fight. My bad. It was the Usyk fight.
The Usyk fight? I thought it was.
Yeah, it was the Usyk fight. He was there for Alexander Usyk, and he got into it with Shakur. We fight right now.
Oh, Dubois. Usyk and Dubois, right?
Yeah, we fight right now.
Yeah.
We fight right now.
You're right, it was that one.
You want to fight? We can fight right now. Nigga, you just said you wasn't fighting. You was done. Why are we talking fighting right now?
By that point, probably was leaning toward retirement, I guess.
He didn't like him playing with his name.
Yeah, it was time for him to retire.
Yeah, it was time for him to retire, man. He had a hell of a career, man. Celebrated beyond what his shit. Yeah.
Like damn near 30 when he turned pro, remember? He had a long amateur career.
Yeah, that's true. And then on top of that, he's got a highly decorated career for not having so many fights. But that's what I say, bro. That's what gets me upset, because the stuff that don't apply to him apply to the fighters that directly look opposite of him.
Yeah.
That have actually fought fights.
Talk about Loma?
Yeah, Loma doesn't get any of that applied to him. What's his record? Do you remember his record?
18-3.
3, right.
18-3, and he is one of the greatest fighters of all time. You got a fighter that's 30-something and 0-1, and he ain't fought nobody. He's a bum. Make that make sense.
I think Loma get most of his attention because of that amateur career, though. You know.
Yeah, I mean, because of what I saw in the ring, bro. Like what I saw in the ring, he was in there fighting against people much bigger than him. He still was doing what I thought was very effective job. Because I still have him winning the fight with Devin Haney.
He
If
was
he'd have stayed at
special.
126, he probably would have been undefeated.
If
He wasn't
Loma
nowhere
would have
near the
turned pro,
135 pound.
if Loma would have turned pro at 18, 20, or even after only one gold medal instead of two, he would have been, bro. Like he would have done it. It's just
And
that
he 135 was really too big for him, to tell you the truth.
for sure.
Absolutely,
Where the fights was at.
absolutely. But I thought he won every single fight at 135.
Yeah, you did. Okay, who did he lose to? T.O., Devin, and
I thought that was a draw.
Devin and
I take that back. I thought. Oh, no! I take that all the way back. I thought he lost the Victor Ortiz fight. Not Victor Ortiz. What's his name? Jermaine Ortiz. I thought he lost that fight. And I thought he lost the what fight was that? Yeah, I thought he lost the Jermaine Ortiz fight.
Did they have 2 or 3 losses? They fired on him.
I didn't think he lost the TO fight, but I thought it was a draw.
He clearly was better because once he started fighting, he dominated.
I give Orlando Salido the win because he got him literally green.
Early.
But that was a split. I mean, the thing with Loma, you can't really. I think. Listen, I understand people feeling some type of way because they don't see the body of work to get those flowers that he's getting, but I just feel like you cannot analyze his career as damn near every other fighter because, again, I mean, if you're a promoter, and I debated this with a lot of people, but if you're a promoter and you're getting a guy that you know is the goods, but he's 27 or 28, I mean, you have to cut some corners, bro. You have to, because otherwise, what are you going to do? Rack up 20 wins and get your title shot at 36? You know?
Yo, shout out to Puerto. Shout out to the nephew, Jai.
Puro Sur, how you doing, broski?
Yeah, no, I agree with you, but I'll say this. That fight, you know, Toledo won the fight. It could have went to Loma, but I thought Salido did the more effective things. I think he was getting acclimated to the professional scene more so than the amateur scene. But at 35, I thought, you know, I thought that you could give T.O. the fight because, you know, he didn't do well in the last round. And, you know, your boy didn't fight until like round 6. Round 6 is when he started fighting. So you can give him that fight, but I thought it was a draw. I thought he lost the Jermaine Ortiz fight. I thought Jermaine Ortiz won 8-4, respectfully. I thought the first 8 rounds he won. Well, I thought round 8 was a close round. You could edge that Loma. But rounds 1 through 7, he definitely won. He was fighting his ass off in that fight, and he unfortunately lost the rest of the rounds, and that's why they gave him the fight. And plus, the money is behind him. You know, yeah, man. He of all the people who fought Loma and won, I thought he was the only one that won that didn't get the win. I thought T.O. got the win. I thought he looked better than T.O. against Loma. I thought Devin got the win. I thought he looked much better than Devin against T.O. Loma.
Yeah.
Yeah, he the only one who didn't get the win. Let that sit down.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like that gets me, and I appreciate you for saying that, because if he really had like all of this going for him, and I'm not saying that he didn't, okay, but if he really had all those things going for him, he would have had all of those decisions go his way instead of the other way, you know. So I don't know. I think he's a great fighter. I think I know what I saw, and I saw an all-time great fighter, but the record is not there. I mean, it is the truth. I mean, he is 18-3, and a lot of things with this Eastern European, I've done a little bit of research on this, not a lot, but a little bit of research, and they value a lot great amateur and great Olympic accomplishments.
they all start
value
late.
that a whole hell of a lot in those.
Look at Terry and Bevo. Neither one of them got over 25 fights.
Exactly,
And
they are.
Usyk
Usyk probably doesn't even have
they all
26
start late
fights.
like that. Like you were saying, finish what you were saying about the Olympics and stuff, though, because that's a good point.
It's kind of like a Cuba situation. Now, Cuba is a little different because they're not literally not allowed to go elsewhere, you know. But it's similar in the sense that when you rack up all these accomplishments in the amateurs and in the Olympics, you get the red carpet treatment over there. You know, so it behooves you to like spend all of that time doing that, because I was puzzled. I was like, man, how come we see all these guys and they're like 12-0 and 13-0 fighting for a championship? Because it's not only Loma. You go down the list, even Madrimov, bro. He was champion 11-0.
Yeah. And to add to that, all the names we said, Usyk, Loma, better be Bivol. Look at how many amateur fights. All of them got over like 200 amateur fights.
Beterbiev got like 22 fights and he's like 41.
Yeah, but look how many amateur fights he got though.
Exactly.
Like all of them got over So they value the amateurs and the Olympic, like you said, much more than they do the pros over there. That's their culture, you know.
Tell Mr. Kensaw Love won.
That's their
Which
culture.
Which rounds did his beloved her beloved Jareel Hadi think he won? You said he won fair and square. Which rounds did you give him?
Which fight is y'all talking about?
Loma Devin.
Oh, Loma and Devin, okay.
Yeah, because you know, in that fight, Loma won 5 straight rounds. So which rounds did you give him?
Who, me?
Me or
No, Jareel Hadi.
Oh,
my man Kensaw Love main thing.
You had Loma for that one. Yeah.
No, I know you had Loma. I'm asking him because he said Devin won fair and square, so I'm asking which rounds did he give him?
Okay.
Because for me, in order for you to get given him that fight, because we did a breakdown on that fight, and we did a breakdown in round 12 specifically because they say he took off that round, right? That's what he said. We found out that Devin did not throw more or land more in that round either.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Loma threw more and landed more, but he was given credit for that round. But just in general, if you did give him 12, which other rounds did you give him?
He's putting him on the spot.
been a while now.
To be clear, I thought Loma had it 7-5, but it was a hell of a fight. It was a hell of a fight.
It was a hell of a fight. It was. I'll give Devin his credit. He did something that I didn't believe he could do. I didn't think he would ever be effective working the body.
Yeah, that was.
But remember, he was the bigger fighter. In that fight, he went backwards more so than he went forwards. Can we agree with that?
And he was in the corner telling Dad, he done figured me out, Dad. Remember that?
Yeah. For sure.
Bill.
And then look at the face after the fight was over when you heard the final ding, 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 ding. Look at his face. His face told the true story of the fight.
Yeah. And when they announced that decision, look how happy he was.
That face after that bell rang, you could look at his face and his dad's face. They didn't have a look of how they normally have. They didn't look like that after Kambosos 1 or 2.
Hell no.
They didn't look like that after Regis. They didn't look like that after even Ramirez. But after that fight, them ninjas looked like they saw a ghost.
And then when it changed and when they announced that decision, did you see how happy he was?
Oh, yeah, he got super elated.
Well, he had lost.
It wasn't just a raise of my hand, a confident couple of steps forward, shaking my head in acknowledgement. Oh, that Mickey Fricky celebrated, jumped, went to the ropes and everything. Because he didn't believe he won that fight.
I don't think he did. Bill did. I don't think Bill did.
I'll say this. I would like to say this one thing. Out of all of the Lomas losses or close fights, I would go on a limb and say Devin is the toughest puzzle to solve.
That's a tough one then.
To me, Devin is a tougher puzzle to solve than Tio or Orlando Salido, in my opinion. I will say that.
Now, when I say that, remember, I maintain that he shouldn't have fought Kambosos. He was done. He was completely done with the weight.
Yeah.
To me, in that Kambosos fight, when he showed up looking like Skeletor, I was like, "Oh my God, dog! He don't need to be fighting here."
You said Devin,
no
right?
kind of game plan.
Yeah, Devin. He was done at that weight. So, like, him fighting that well against Kambosos, mad respect to him. But, you know, if you, I mean, at best you can give it 4-2 for Devin in the first 6 rounds. If we're being honest, you could give it 4-1. I get 5-1. I guess if you're really just riding him. Mm-hmm. And saying, yo, you know what? I'm a Devin fan. Yo, he won all 5 of those rounds. I heard people say he won 9-3, bro. Which 9 rounds would you give him?
I wouldn't even say 9-3 for Loma.
9-3 Loma is more believable.
Maybe, but I wouldn't.
Than 9-3 Devin. Now I had it initially 8-4. I looked at it again. It was 7-5.
But I had it 7-5.
And the determining round for me was round 1, who originally I gave to Loma, but when I looked at it again, I gave it Dev. Mm-hmm. I thought Dev 1-1, lost 2, 1-3, lost 4, 1-5, 1-6. Lost 7, lost 8, lost 9, lost 10, lost 11. And then there's 12, which when I looked at it the first time,
but you got to give a lot of credit. Right? You had to give both of them a lot of credit for taking that fight, though, because, you know,
here's the thing, right?
Nowadays, man.
My assessment, you know, some fighters are gonna have, you know, quote unquote preferential treatment. You can go through the history and through modern times, and my thing is this: if you're really good, it really doesn't matter that much to me, and here's why. For example, a very glaring example is Chavez Sr., right? Chavez Sr. is a good example because there's a bunch of fights that Chavez Sr. had that you don't even find on YouTube or anything like that. And some people say he lost. I mean, anyway, my point is, when it came time to show how good he was, he showed me that he was the real deal. So if you are that good, it really doesn't matter that much to me. When I get mad is when you're not that good and you're being patted like an Edgar Berlanga or something like that. When you're not that good and you end up, you know, crashing and burning, that's the bummer for me. But if you pan out and you really you show that you're that good, win or lose, bro. Because I'm gonna tell you something: if you ain't that good, you're gonna get cleaned against Tio, Devin, against somebody. You're gonna get cleaned.
Well, it's gonna catch up with you eventually. You know.
Exactly. You're gonna get found out one way or another, like it happened with Ryan, for example. So it didn't happen to him. So in the end, bro, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay, so before Portal come in and cook, because he got his stuff on like he about to come up in here and cook. Let me ask you guys all this, since Portal's here too. In that fight, who went back more? That Loma Devin fight. Who was on the back foot more of that fight?
Devin.
Mm-hmm. So I just say that because, huh? Oh, you gonna be right back? So I say that because my man Jaru, bless his heart, just said that Loma looked scared against Dev in that fight. You can't be scared and driving him on the back foot, having him against the ropes multiple times, hitting him with stuff so much that you know what, he starts hitting you with elbows, hitting you below the waist, and then hitting you in the back of the head.
Devin told Bill he figured me out. You know? Yeah,
that's not being scared. You don't figure people out being afraid. Now I rock with you, Jai. You my boy. You know that, dog. You know you a rare gem in my eyes, bro. And you know you the royalty too, cause you kinfolk to the crown, dog. You know what I'm saying? We know you got that special relationship with a certain someone. But at the same time, bro, Devin was going backwards more times than forwards in that fight, bro. And he was on the retreat. He was also wobbled not wobbled, but rocked a couple of times, dog, where he had to get his stuff together. Now, all of that was off the cusp of being probably severely dehydrated, but nonetheless, it was the case, dog. Noma wasn't scared in that fight, bro. Not at all.
Nah, I don't think so.
I'm gonna watch it again. I'm gonna watch it again. It's been a minute since I've seen it. I've seen it like 2 times, but it's been a minute though. So I'm gonna watch it again.
That was one of the fights of the year. What was it? 23? 24, 23? Was that the same year, Earl and Bud?
I don't think so. I think it was 22, wasn't it?
What fight is that we talking?
Devin Loma.
Devin Loma was 23.
Can't remember.
Let me look it up.
Been a while.
23 was either 23.
I know it was in like April.
It was 23 because Tank was supposed to fight.
Yeah, it was 23. It was 23. Yeah.
Because remember they were saying he was washed when Tank was about to fight him, but just the year before, not even a year, like some months before, he was a legacy fight for another fighter.
And then him and Tank was in the last year too. Remember? When Loma said he moved. Well, that was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was 24. So it was supposed to take place in like September through November of 24.
First time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really Floyd. That wasn't Tank. Floyd was,
I think everything, bro. Like I know people gonna say I'm glazing. I don't glaze nobody. I don't even glaze donuts. I like my buttermilks without the glaze.
Right.
That's real rap though. But I'm gonna say this: it's mighty strange in this day and age where certain people can be seen on camera doing certain things that other people get accused of, and they good. Meanwhile, the people that are accused of and don't got no video footage in a day and age where everybody got a camera on their person in the form of a phone, or if you're in an establishment that's that's high profile and exchange a whole lot of money, well protected via security cameras. I can't even say cameras. I was trying to invent a word, camerages. But you can't find out one video. We come in a day and age where a nigga named ISO Speed show up, people pull up the phone. Who the fudge is ISO Speed? Niggas really know who Tank is. And they didn't pull out a phone, record him, and then he got up there and grabbed some woman by the throat. Pretty woman too. I seen her. Very pretty. And grabbed her through by the throat off a pole and drug her through the back to the kitchen. Come on, man. We gotta do better as people.
Yo.
What's up? How you doing, Buddha?
I'm doing. Tommy, Irony, Cass, what up?
You got the best hand. Talk to us, player.
Yes.
Same old, man. No, just wanted to hop in about the Devin Loma. Yeah, I had Loma win in that fight. I'll not say easy. Like, I give Devin a lot of credit for not getting knocked out in that fight.
It was a good fight.
But in every aspect of like what they score in, bro, like he was losing in. Like the only reason like the fight was a complete wash because of that Devin body attack. But that's the thing though, like the Devin body attack, while it was good, it's not the end all be all. Like literally, like I just think it's funny how some fans, and I wouldn't even say like the judges, but some fans will like, oh my god, the body work was great. That's why he won it on sheer body work. Like Canelo's body work was great against Crawford, didn't win him the fight. Right. You get what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, like body work is just one aspect of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. That's
for sure.
Part of it.
Yo, Puerto, they laughed at me when I made that comment the day of the fight. I said, yeah, the niggas that said Bodywork won Devin the fight, did Bodywork make this fight? Did Bodywork make this fight a win for Canelo? Why y'all not giving him credit for the body? They didn't have nothing to say.
Because if I'm looking at it from that lens, I could give the fight a draw.
I had a person that was a coach that love to hate on certain folks too. Love to big up somebody else. Say, Crawford is so good a fighter, he wouldn't even be getting touched to the body. Crawford was getting touched to the body all night long in that fight until, you know, rounds 9 and forward. But other than that, he was getting hit in the body all night. Like I had to fight a lot closer than a lot of other folks did. But you know, I understand, man. It's the dynamic, and they didn't expect it to even look close.
Yeah, and I think most people in their, I would say most people on YouTube in their head, they already knew who they wanted to win.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
Which is cool. I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from Crawford, but yeah, no, I mean, like that's the only thing that Canelo did in that fight was the body work.
Yeah, I had Canelo going into the fight.
Well, I said that I thought that Crawford would win 8 rounds, but they would still give it to Canelo.
I thought the same thing.
I knew they were going to give Canelo nothing, bro, because to me that's a narrative as well that they give Canelo fights.
I know that. I know that's a narrative in your mind, but you know, I thought he lost to the fight before.
Which one was that?
Skull?
To William Skull.
Okay.
I thought Skull.
Go ahead, Tom.
No, you go ahead. Boy.
No, you got
You're
no,
trying
no,
to shout.
no, I could drop.
No. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. By all means. Come on, Porto. Go on and say what you was about to say, man.
No, so I can respond to well, I got to respond to what you were saying. I could drop.
Yeah, you can go ahead and respond. I know what I'm about to say, so go ahead. You good?
I don't. That's what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Well, you was gonna respond to the fact that I said I thought he won. I thought he, you know. He landed more punches and he threw more punches. He made Canelo miss a lot. He made Canelo over there do what effectively De Los Santos did and try to point to the ring and say, "Come here." But in boxing, you're supposed to walk your opponent into something unfavorable, and he didn't want to. He got lazy. He didn't want to work, and that was one of the things that I started to see in Canelo. Like he was getting more and more lazy with doing things. Like I thought he should have gotten rid of Munguia. I thought he should have got rid of Berlanga. And you know, I thought that he just let them stay around because he'd already convincingly won the majority of the rounds earlier, so he didn't have to. Yeah, you know, after that he pretty much let them breathe. He should have got them Mickey Free. They're not on his level. Get them the fudge up out of there. I will say that, you know, I got more respect for Munguia that fight because I thought Munguia was utterly outclassed, but he showed hard up in that fight. But Canelo, I thought if Canelo wanted to, he could have gotten him out. I thought he could have gotten Berlanga out. And, you know, I thought that he could have done much more to make sure that the dang fight with Skull was definitely not even thought of to be a good fight or somewhat close. And he didn't. He chose to not be active. And, you know, he got while the other guy was slightly more active, he was slightly more effective with his activity too. And, you know, it just wasn't rewarded.
No, and Tommy, I was going to say, and that's why I wanted you to get your whole points across. I actually agree with everything you said there, other than Skull winning the fight. But I get where you're coming from, where like you or anybody who's thought Skull won that fight could say that, because Canelo at the end of the day, like he made it that close, where like somebody like yourself or anybody else that thought Skull won that fight or won that fight, at the end of the day, it could have gone either way. What my whole thing about that Skull fight was like, was he doing that on purpose, or is just his age starting to show? And I think that's what the Bud Crawford fight showed more than anything, is that like what happened in the Skull fight and what happened in the Bud fight is his age starting to show.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that, you know, he's
Puro.
Yes, sir.
What'd you say? You think his age starting to show?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that, you know, he's been in the ring for and through many battles, and some of them wars.
Yes. What, 70? Almost 70, ain't it?
Yeah, and some of them wars. Some of them, like, he was hit with that would have put everybody else down, but he stayed up. And, you know, he on them satin sheets, baby. Them silk satin sheets, dog. That life, that Arabian fragrance. That stuff hit different, bro. Like
16, so not just his age.
15, I think 15. Yeah, he was 15 beating on men.
He was 15, 15
That's
or
a long
14.
time, man. You know.
So I agree with that, and I think that you can get away with that with certain fighters. You can get away with it with a freaking Skull, but you can't get away with it with a Crawford or Benavidez. And I still would have liked to see that fight, but it's starting to look more and more like he just don't have the energy that's necessary to pull that fight off.
I think he still smokes Benavidez.
I still would favor him, but just the fact that his inactivity and the way that when things didn't go his way, he started to look visibly disturbed. Man, he can't do stuff like that against Benavidez because there won't be no rest for the reary.
Yeah, but Benavidez can't do nothing about it though. Like Crawford can,
Yeah, I feel you on that.
But I just like him dangling the carrot in front of Benavidez, bro. I hope he keeps doing that.
Who smokes Benavidez?
Canelo.
I actually kind of agree with that.
Me too.
I actually kind of
always said that.
I've always favored Canelo. Yeah. I wanted the fight to happen because Benavidez is good. He's really good, but his strengths is what Canelo likes.
Exactly. Like Canelo's never had issues with that type of style. Canelo's issues is with boxers. That's it.
And for a long time, everybody been saying like running from Benavidez, but I always said ain't no guarantee Benavidez gonna win.
But for that fight to be favorable for Canelo, to me, he got to get out of that. He's no Canelo. See, that's what to me got him in that fight with Crawford. He's good, but he's no Canelo. Mickey Fricky, please. You better stop and you better train as that dude is a threat. And I don't believe that's what happened. I don't think they prepared for him being a threat. I think that, they did the conditioning and the work that they always do, but they didn't figure that this Mickey Fricky was going to do anything to change anything. And they didn't have no contingency plan if there was something that they didn't overlook that they could adjust to. And I think that more so than anything. And, I'm not a big proponent of his trainer too. So, I think go ahead.
I just think, just real quick, I just think that certain fighters, there's nothing he would have lost anyway, bro. And this is with all due respect, okay? I'm not the biggest Canelo fan, but I'm starting to like pump the brakes a little bit and to see it for what it is. I mean, Canelo can fare extremely well against certain types of styles. Now, he did beat the shit out of Billy Joe Saunders and Caleb Plant, which are two boxers, but they can't really, how do I put this? Like, it's different, right? Like, Bevo's not going to get tired. Bevo's going to go the same way 1 through 12. And the same with Bud Crawford and the same with Floyd Mayweather. And to a lesser degree, Erislandy Lara as well. Like they can keep the same rhythm and the same, and the same level of intensity to it. Pace, thank you, throughout the fight. Caleb Plant really can't do that. At least for what I've seen. And Billy Joe Saunders, let's be honest, he's like the Timo version of these dudes. So I mean, Canelo. That's why I think that's why it sucks even more that we never got, at least thus far, Canelo versus David, because I actually give Canelo a pretty damn good chance in that fight, bro.
Yeah, I always maintain that I favored him. Like I said, given the way of his activity and the way that I think he approaches the fight now, it's a little bit more favorable for Benavidez than I thought it was, but I still got Canelo. But I want to ask everybody this, man, and I want everybody's opinion too. My man said, I didn't think Bud easily beat Canelo, but he did win. Who here thought that Bud easily beat Crawford? Canelo.
I did.
You did? What did you give it?
I had it at least 9-3.
Oh, wow. What'd you have it, Cass?
About 8-4.
Wow. I had a 7-5.
I didn't think he easily beat him, but I thought it was clear. I didn't think he easily beat him, but I thought it was clear.
Yeah, it was clear. I thought the last 3 rounds made it clear to me, but honestly, rounds 1 through 3, it could have all been Canelo. It could have been.
I gave those first 3 to Canelo easily.
I thought 4 was Bud. I thought 5 was Canelo. I thought 6 was Bud. I thought 7 was Canelo. I thought 8 was Bud, and I thought 9 was going to be Canelo. And then he flipped the switch in that later round, and I think he finished stronger to get the round, and therefore I gave Bud the round, and then he got 10, 11, and 12 for me.
I thought Canelo's reluctance to throw at key moments cost him that fight.
I just felt like Bud Crawford has too many layers to his game. I felt like he was, and as he did, he fought southpaw the whole fight. That way, he nullifies the left hook from hell that Canelo has. And
it's been a long. I don't even think he'll switch hitter no more.
No. He definitely protected against that, and that's what saved him in that fight. Because he said he didn't hit hard when he landed, even though it was getting blocked. Canelo was making his whole body move that whole fight.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If those punches would have landed without the glove being there or the forearm being there, man, he would have been in trouble. Trouble. He just was expert that night at catching the shots that were the most dangerous. The only ones that didn't get caught were the ones to the body. Fantastic performance by Crawford. Fantastic. He showed why people would think he is pound for pound the number one fighter in the world.
Yeah.
Now that going beyond. Go ahead.
The analogy, just real quick, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just real quick, the analogy that I make, and I'm not saying it's a perfect analogy, but the analogy that I make is when you see Marvelous versus Tommy Hearns. Marvelous started orthodox, and he was damn near getting his ass whooped in that first round. And then he turned southpaw, and the fight completely changed. Because think about it, if you're an orthodox versus a southpaw, by far, from the orthodox perspective, the clearest punch to land is the right hand.
Lead right, yeah.
And Canelo's best punch, and this ain't no secret, is the left hook, bro. And I just felt like that was the deciding factor throughout the fight. Like Canelo hasn't really fought that many southpaws to begin with. Damn near all his opponents are orthodox. And that's what I felt. So I just feel like Bud Crawford has too many layers to his game. When it's a fighter that has Canelo doesn't really have many layers to his game. He just does what he does extremely well with the high guard, with the traps, with the left hook, and he has an amazing chin and he's never gonna get tired, obviously. But he is who he is, and he's extremely good at what he does. But when you have a fighter that can really damn near do it all, I know nobody's perfect, blah 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 blah. But when you face with a fighter that has that many layers to his game, I don't see how. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see how you pull that off.
Okay. What happened in the Madrimov fight though?
Exactly.
Didn't look all that good in that one.
I mean, Madrimov is different, bro. Madrimov has footwork. He has a herky-jerky style, very unpredictable. Okay. And he goes from more to less. Like, Madrimov had his moments in that fight, but Bud Crawford was starting slowly, maybe not slowly, but definitely surely getting his respect more and more and more throughout the fight. And he just pulled on, because if you see Madrimov, focus on Madrimov if you see that fight again. I'm going to watch it again, but focus on Madrimov and see his output go way down as the fight goes longer and longer. So he definitely had his moments, and he impressed me in that fight, because to be honest, he did very well in that fight. But Madrimov has this style, bro, that he's gonna make you look bad even if you beat him, bro.
Yes.
And I thought Madrimov beat Bud, in my opinion.
It was close.
Damn.
I was
very close fight, but I thought he beat Bud.
Yeah. I wasn't sure until they made the decision.
But it was close though. Like I wasn't mad. I didn't think it was a robbery or anything like that.
Yeah.
But
I thought it could have went either way before they. If they would have said, "Man," I wouldn't have been mad. But
look at Virgil. Virgil had no problems with him, and Virgil.
Madrimov.
Yeah,
I think not for nothing, and feel free to disagree with me, Puro, on this one, but I had that fight being way closer than people think. In my opinion, I had a damn near draw, to be honest with you.
I had that fight. Wasn't even close.
I'll see it again. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, and I'll watch it.
No, and everybody's got their perspective. Nobody looks at any fight exactly the same. But it's all good. It is what it is. We're just giving our opinions. Hey, I gotta fly, fellas. I gotta pick up my daughter in a little bit. Thank you for having me, Cass.
He gonna touch the sky.
Pleasure as always,
bro.
right,
Shout out Puro. Shout out to his daughter too, baby boy.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
Later.
For sure. God bless. Great stuff. He was in my panel the other day. We cooked for like half an hour or maybe a little bit more. I love that guy. You guys there? Hello? Cass, are you there? T Hill, are you there? No? Something wrong with my audio? Oh shit. What happened? What happened? Chad, you guys hear me or no? You guys there? Can you guys hear me in the chat or?
Nah, I hear you. I hear you. I just been on mute. My bad.
Oh,
Say it again.
Hey, Pharaoh, we talked about this weekend before you got
Put on bounce. He had to go pick up his girl from school.
Let's see what he had on this weekend. We all been over. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot to ask him that.
Yeah, me too. So what else y'all got on today? We're gonna get ready to
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go.
Shut it down.
Say that again.
So what time tonight?
To be honest with you, if I go live, it's gonna be as usual, like maybe 9:30.
What you talking about? Like got anything set up yet?
I don't even know. I'll probably just look through the news and because I already did the weekend recap last night. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you came on Sunday. Damn.
It wasn't planned.
Okay.
But I don't know. I might go into the fights a little bit. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not even sure that I'm gonna go live because I gotta do something.
Okay.
But if I go live, I'll be honest with you, Cass, and that's probably I probably should do better on this. But I often, bro, I go live just to see what's on the news, or I'll just put on some highlights and just talk about it. I don't really
right.
yeah,
that's what people want to hear. Boxing talk.
Yeah, but I gotta get some, yeah, for sure, but I do need to get some structure in there, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
doesn't hurt.
Well, you just work on it, that's all. Just keep coming on though. Work that into it.
I'm gonna start doing profiles, but I want to make sure because I'm gonna look through your channel because I want to make sure that if I go on profiles, that I do profiles that you have already done.
Okay.
Like I know you've done Tito already, you've done Joe Calzaghe already, you did Shakur Stevenson the other day. So I can look on
the thing. Yeah, they all lined up. It would be like Fridays.
Yes.
Jump through them.
But listen, I appreciate you, fine gentlemen, as always. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, fellas, and God bless you.
Okay,
have a good.
Same to you, Iron. Same to you. Play bite.
You too.
You have a good one, I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Right,
well, Chaz, man, I'm saying, as always, fantastic show. As always, we learn something that we didn't know, or we get a little bit more insight on what we thought we had a clue to. Mm-hmm. We got a huge fight we coming.
Cut off to you.
I got this thing where it's just cutting off right now. Yeah, it's a tremendous week right here. I got to keep touching my screen because it's not acting like it normally does. It's cutting off if I don't touch it. But it's a tremendous look for the fighters involved, man. It's a tremendous look for boxing. It's a great card. Every fight on the card has the potential to have big fireworks in it, and we get a little bit more determination of where fighters are in their career, and that's always a good thing. So shout out to this week, man. Shout out to the people who put on this fight. Shout out to the people that are going in the ring to do battle, and hopefully shout out to the fans, man. I've really lost a lot of luster on the way that we as fans treat folks and view fights. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a person that calls it straight down the same way. So if it's this way for this fighter, it's this way for every single fighter. And we got to be fair to these fighters, bro. We can't be just saying that it's this for one fighter, but not this for another fighter. Or it's, you know, a good look for one fighter when it's not a good look for other fighters. This right here will help to start to show people where they are, man, because we got some fights where people have perceptions and have, you know, been typecasted as a certain way in certain things, and we're gonna get to see it bear out in the ring if it's so. And hopefully, you know, these fights put on and they do well so that, you know, they can get rid of some of the things that are being said or spoken about these people, because they train and they give their life to dedicate their life to do what's necessary to provide for them and their families, and a lot of times they get disrespected. So hopefully this brings a little respect to fighters in general and boxing in general, and that we can start seeing more fights like this where, you know, there's a way. You still hear me, or?
Yeah, no, you get blanked out. I hear you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot. I stopped touching it. But man, you know, we get to see boxing be put on display, and hopefully, you know, the people will respect it. The people that's in the ring will get respected, and they will do their very best so that we can get the very best fights this weekend, man. And shout out to everybody that came in, participated in the chat. Shout out to the people that came to the panel and gave levity. My man, Irony Boxing, definitely select. Yeah, I mean, definitely take a chance to like, comment, and subscribe to his channel. My man, Puro Sword, always appreciate him and his insight and his words on boxing, his thoughts on boxing, and Cat Sports for giving us this platform to talk boxing and talk boxing for its purest aspects, man, and not because what we would like boxing to be or think boxing is. Give boxing its just due, so to speak. And shout out to Just Do Boxing, who is on right now, man. Go on and govern yourselves accordingly. Navigate to JUS space DUE space boxing and make yourselves acquainted, man. This is Cat Sports, the Boxtorian, man. This has been another fantastic show, and we are out.